Hello again from the Clark Ford Studios. We're here with you for the watch party. Ole Miss and Kentucky getting ready to start any minute now. They're in Lexington. We've been watching the end of this TCU-Texas game down to the final. I guess it just ended. The flag on the play.
Flag on the play, but the clock is at 0.
So we'll have Pete DeWeese will join us in the second quarter. We'll have some food from Funky's around halftime-ish. I'll take calls at halftime. So one thing we're going to do differently this time, at halftime while Chase and Haley are figuring out the food situation and taking a break, I'll take some calls with you at halftime, and then third quarter at some point I'll take a little break, but we'll leave Chase on the screen. Maybe Haley can sit here or whatever. We'll figure it out. And I don't know. We'll figure it out. So we're about to get you to Ole Miss and Kentucky. Should be a really good one from Lexington.
Like last week, won't be continuous talk. We'll react. We'll give commentary. Just put us on the side with an iPad or something, and we'll all hang in together. Pete's appointment viewing in the second quarter, so we'd find out kind of schematically what Ole Miss and Kentucky are doing.
One untimed down in Austin.
TCU has the ball, though, right?
I think that's right. Gary Patterson's really concerned with the sideline. He wants everyone to back up. He's his own backup guy. Gary Patterson long abandoned his
flip
mask.
it back. We got a game.
Okay, sorry.
Catch it. Is that picking up in the stream, or are we good from a volume standpoint? That might be a touch loud.
Yeah, I'll turn it down a little. Yeah, y'all let us know if you can hear the TV in here really loud, because we don't need it to be coming through the stream as a broadcast. So one of the things I was looking for, Chase, can you incorporate other receivers besides Elijah Moore? You've got to get that secondary receiver, third receiver.
A poor play and then a busted play back-to-back after the pass and catch.
I think that play was designed to snap it to Moore in motion.
Oh, really?
Play was worthy of a story being written.
Huge early play to set the tone, really, Neal.
Yeah. Change the game.
The safety valve is pretty good when it's Jarian that gets it, and he can.
They want a time check. We're at the 13-minute mark just then. 12:58, 12:57, 12:56, 12:55, 12:53 with a snap right there. And a touchdown.
Gaping hole, and I think he's
in.
in. Oh,
I don't think he's in. I think he got the spot right. If you watch the replay, I think you'll see the ball lands just outside of the end zone right there. Corrals in. Oh, did he give it to Ely?
Yeah, that might not have been the smartest thing there, but that got done. Second week in a row, a couple rough snaps. Obviously, Ben in his first season at center.
Did you notice Kiffin not wearing a mask?
At all?
At all.
Guess he decided he didn't get fined last week when they didn't have one on.
Well, the league put out a memo last night
A very terse.
reminding
email.
everyone that they were to wear masks. This might be Lane Kiffin's just saying, well, we didn't even see the whole drive. That was awfully impressive.
That was quick. Okay.
I mean, just moving. The pace just then. I've not seen tempo like that in a long time.
What did we miss on the first couple plays? I think we missed 2 plays. What did we miss?
We missed an Ely run and something.
Okay. Was Plumlee in at all on that series?
No, we're watching on DirecTV. We're not streaming. So your Roku must be flying. Congratulations.
If you got a stream that's beating the satellite, you're
you're
rolling.
This is DirecTV.
Yeah, Mingo was our first play. Okay, so we only missed a run then. Plumlee did not play anything on the series. Okay. Oh, so somebody said Plumlee started the series. Okay, either way. Now can they play defense?
Tell you what, you get the right kind of defense to go with that offense and look out. Now, when you go that fast, you better have a hell of a defense. Yes, Trinity, we did see the suit. We discussed that on the pregame show just then a little bit. It was a heck of a suit.
It was a good suit. Better play well if you have that suit on.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of
You better get in the upper echelon of the SEC if you're going to wear that puppy.
YouTube TV is even ahead of us.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Are we on we're not like backed up, are we?
Well, not that I'm aware of.
Okay.
No, because there's no DVR in here.
Okay.
Yeah, we're.
Jennifer Lawrence is High Stranger. It's been a while. Jen?
Hey, Jen.
Kentucky playing the stand up and get crunk like the Saints do before kickoff here at Kroger Field. I think it's just around his neck.
Yeah, he's
I
got
think
some
it's
sort of
technically on
a gator around his neck. We missed you too, Jen. Glad to hear from you. Hope you're doing well.
Was that Luke Logan?
Why is Kentucky wearing those jerseys?
They always do that.
It's just in the blue pants with it.
You have blue and white.
Yeah.
Be blue and white.
And that color blue, which is a really good blue.
Your Dodgers, your Royals, don't Colts. Whatever the Colts do, just do that.
Yeah. I love these Ole Miss uniforms.
The white on white?
The white on white with the powder blue helmet. I'm a fan.
Well, he kind of deserved that. Who's got the over in this game?
What is the over-under
I don't
in this
know.
game?
Just completely sealed on the outside. I mean, no.
1, 2, 3. Just.
Didn't get in, but very close.
Inches away.
That's a good point. The obsession with checkerboard too, when that's a main thing for one of your your intra division rivals. You know what I mean too?
Yeah.
Like going the checkerboard route when Tennessee's in your division. Reminds me of one of my favorite running backs, Larry Rose Jr., wherever he is. He was the third, actually. Oh.
He fumbled. He fumbled, Chase.
Did he?
He fumbled. I don't think he got in first, and I can't tell who recovered it, but that ball was on the ground.
I don't think he got in. Kentucky loses last week, as Jeff said on our pregame show.
I don't think he got in.
They did dominate yards a little bit against Auburn, but they turned the ball over 3 times, so now likely the first one here.
Yeah, we're going to get us a review here. Ricky's right. This has always been the knock on Wilson is ball security. Oh, that was Rose, not Wilson. I apologize.
Sorry to miss Wilson.
Yeah.
There's no evidence he's in at all.
No, you can't. Did Ole Miss recover it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Ole Miss didn't recover it.
Yeah, credit to Ja'Cory Hawkins. He didn't give up on that very first play. Stopped him at the, 3-yard line? Just so you guys know, in the YouTube thread, if you use profane language, while it doesn't bother me and it doesn't bother Chase, it bothers YouTube. So that's why your message doesn't show up. Yeah, they
turn your phone down when you watch what I just sent you. Like turn the volume down so it doesn't pick up. Was that just like good? Like was that positive or negative on a connotation there?
Ooh, that's a good question. It was weird.
Yeah. Oh, Levy and Lane are using Snoop a lot inside so far this season. Gets the carry there. They're just trying to get a little room. Ooh.
Oh, he moved. Right tackle jumped.
Oh, 3 and out after the turnover, but punting the ball at this point to win for the Rebels. Yeah, looking on Twitter, Andy Staples had a mayonnaise bet earlier today that Pitt would beat North Carolina State. The Wolfpack won 30-29, so he says he has to eat straight mayo, that he cannot mix it with anything. The deal is straight mayonnaise for Mr. Staples.
Cole McCarty, thanks for the gift, buddy. He says, why does the Bluegrass State have turf? It's a good question. I guess because it gets so cold early that
coverage was slow and terrible on that punt.
wasn't Mac's best kick either, but he was in a hurry to get rid of it.
Didn't have a full.
I don't like giving the plays away with Plumlee at quarterback. That's just me.
Well, he was being completely conservative. He wasn't going to attempt turning it over down the field is the main reason.
What's Stoops upset about?
At the ref?
Yeah, he's jumping him.
Bama up 14-0 on the Aggies. Wilson's got pretty good patience in the run game. It's going to be one thing for Ole Miss today is they can't just blister down the field because they're over anxious from a blitz or from a trying to get to him in the pocket. He's gonna pick his spots. He's gonna pick gaps. They do a lot of design runs where it's sort of up to him to read where to go. Ole Miss really having a hard time out on the edge, matching Kentucky from speed.
That's putting it mildly. Really getting whipped on the line of scrimmage right there. That's a massive.
Just hat on the edges.
Yeah, that's that. They're really getting beat on that side of the ball right now. John Stinchcombe's talking about the same thing. It's a problem for Ole Miss in this game moving forward. They are really getting whipped on this line of scrimmage.
He's in. Way too easy, and again, it's just kind of Wilson there picking a spot on those inside control runs.
So 7-7, Ole Miss and Kentucky, 7:36 to go in the first quarter.
Kentucky able to do the things it was not able to do last week against Auburn from a run game standpoint. Ole Miss didn't even think about making them have to pass there. The play called by the Aggies as we 14-0 tied, 1:13 left in the first quarter. I don't think he got out of bounds, Neal. Watch this. It's close. I think it's a touchdown. He's in. Touchdown.
That's a touchdown.
62.5 or 63 was where the Ole Miss Kentucky game finished from a total standpoint.
Florida State losing right now again.
Who are they playing?
Jacksonville State or somebody?
Really?
How could they be playing that game? Are they allowed a +1?
All right, let's flip it back.
You a mac and cheese fan?
If it's really good mac and cheese, yes.
You
but
like Velveeta type mac and cheese?
I can
Kraft
eat shells
mac
and cheese fine. But my point is like,
you like the powder cheese or the Velveeta?
Oh, Velveeta. No, the powdered cheese mac and cheese I can't eat. No, thanks. No chance. Now, really good homemade mac and cheese. I mean, now we're talking. Like I'd be all in on that.
I was not wearing a hat. I've not been wearing a hat since this morning.
You had a hat on during the Taylor Zarzer interview.
I can put a hat on if you all think that would be a positive thing that would help your Rebels. I'll do my part. I tried to Peloton the Cubs to a win yesterday, and that didn't work.
That was an underwhelming playoff series for the Cubbies.
Kind of glad it's over, if you want to know the truth. A piece came over me about 30 minutes after it was over. And
you watch a lot of other stuff?
I watched the Padres, I think. They're fun. Over under 63. I like the over.
Yeah.
Not that deep.
Deep from the standpoint they did not onside kick. That was the only thing that was deep about that.
He's got a burst.
He might be playing the right sport. Going into it, if you had to pick, and I asked this because I think you didn't think the Cubs had a chance of winning the thing anyway. If they said you get to choose one or the other, the Cubs win or the Cardinals lose as a guarantee, what would you have picked in the first round?
Oh, Cubs win.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. You're not that guy.
No.
Yeah. Okay.
What's interesting, NL Central and AL Central combined went Yeboah jumped.
He did.
NL Central went 1-8. AL Central went 2-4. No, 1-4. It's possible that the Central teams just weren't very good.
He could have just gotten out of bounds there and kept that from being a thing.
Tell you what, he made a hell of a play avoiding that pressure from the left side. Right tackle got beat there. Give to Plumlee.
Ole Miss really had a hard time protecting on that series. Just offensive line overwhelmed a little bit by Kentucky.
Getting beat at the line of scrimmage right now.
On both sides.
Yeah. Jeremy James struggled a little bit there, but I think that might have been on Broker. Left side got collapsed, and at first I thought it was James, but I think it was Broker. I wish I could see a replay of it.
It's about the Most you ever see them get faked out on the fake fair catch there. Like they
He faked me, yeah.
Yeah.
Before the Kentucky fumble, number 10, the one that did the celebration, he puked right before that play.
Really?
Yeah.
Like on the field?
On the field. Just watched video proof. I'll try a hat. We'll see if maybe a hat brings good juju. We'll see.
I've got to change a shirt at some point today, so we'll. Which one you going with? Okay.
Oh, Blue Delta. They've been good to us. I sure look better in a cap than I do with my bald head, I can tell you that. No word on Parrish.
Nothing.
Taylor talked to the coaches last night. I think he anticipated that he would play more, but
so far nothing.
But we are still first quarter. I am glad that I'm not sweating through a Cubs-Marlins game on the side over here. If I'm honest, I'm glad.
That wouldn't be helping you out, huh?
No, I don't think it. And I already told myself, you have to do better.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was like, you got the camel toe hat. I don't know where that is. It's in my closet somewhere, Webb. I need to find it. Do you think they're forcing the Plumlee thing?
On the first series, I really thought they were just trying to not be stupid and potentially turn it over there. I mean, I think if there was anything to the first, when I say first series, the first one we saw him play, curious if they trust Corral in that area to throw it down the field. It felt like, hey, we're going to just see if he can beat somebody one-on-one and move the sticks a little bit. Because what's weird, what's the thing about it is they're using Plumlee some, and even if you're going to use him, they're not giving him many options, though. It's really just kind of grab it and pick a hole. You know what I mean? Like there's no, hey, run the offense for a second. It's just do this one thing that, frankly, is allowing defenses to key on it because they're just bringing everybody up, and they know he's going to run left or right and kind of try to pick a hole and go from there.
Two females say I should take the hat off, so I'll take the hat off. I know when to listen. No hat. Prefer no hat anyway.
Well, you haven't tried to see if it helped the game yet or not.
Well, that's true.
Wasn't that the whole point?
I guess. I was just trying to be nice to you
Woman starts
guys.
talking to Neal and see what happens. Just completely loses all train of thought and forgets everything else that's going on.
That's pretty much the story. Oop. Actually, it flipped. I'm sorry. We need 2 TVs.
Well, they picked up 10 on first play. They have no speed to the outside at all.
You're on the phone. If you're Ole Miss, you're on the phone with recruits saying, but if you can't play here next year on defense, you probably don't need to be playing football anymore. They are so slow to the edge. They're not big or fast.
I mean, that I would have picked up 7 in that hole.
You probably would have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd have been grabbed right through the hole, but I would have gotten 7 prior to getting hit in that hole.
Well, and right there, who's 14? Who's 14? Instead of trying to make a tackle, he tries to make a hit. You gotta wrap up there. And no, this isn't McIntyre. This is recruiting coming home to roost. This isn't about the defensive coordinator. This is talent.
Just horrendous tackling and speed.
Yeah, this is talent.
Dalen Gill.
He tried a knockout hit instead of just wrapping up. I mean, it's missed tackle. You wrote about missed tackles during the week. Missed tackles, bad angles.
And more missed tackles happen because of a lack of speed, because you're not in the right place. You're grabbing more. You're not in the spot you should be in. That's why tackles happen, or missed tackles happen. Sam Williams could have been flagged there.
I was getting ready to say the exact same thing. He might have caught a break there. If I'm 67, I'm not particularly happy with Sam Williams on that play.
No. Look, Ole Miss's defense is not going to be overly good, but these are the kind of plays right here that will decide whether they're in this game or not.
Wow. Bubba's not getting any love in the night. Bubba might get whipped tonight. You got to go hit that recruiting trail on defense hard. You got to get in the transfer market on defense big time.
I mean, there's no way to overturn this unless there's a whistle at some point, because if they didn't blow a whistle, it's forward progress until the end. And I mean,
unless does he have a knee down or anything?
He never really we even went to the ground. We got to the end zone. No, it would have taken a stopped forward progress. in a minute 33 of game clock. We'll ask Pete DeWeese what he's seeing in all this.
How do you restart a defense, Taylor asked. It's just recruiting. You got to go get better players. You got to go get different players. The product on the defensive side of the field is the indictment of Matt Luke and that staff. It's the indictment of their recruiting philosophy.
You can't scheme a lack of speed and size.
Not in this league. They made evaluation mistakes on the defensive side. Simple as that. And you knew going into the season that defensive line was going to be an issue. Defensive line was a concern, and 5 quarters in, yeah. From this game standpoint, this offensive possession's kind of big.
Oh, there's no doubt about that.
Because I'm not sure right now you have any confidence that you can stop them, and you certainly can't go 3 and out or something here and put the defense back on the field. You either need an extended drive or you need a score. Yeah, I'm not sure, DJ, that I would take Ed as a strong source on the problem here. He didn't get it off.
Yeah. Ole Miss had really made a lot of hay last week getting down the field. They're going so side to side right now.
They're getting beat up front right now is what I'm noticing. I'm just watching line of scrimmage play. Just getting beat up front. That was a nice throw. He looks for number 8. I don't blame him either.
He looks for 8 every time.
Yeah, that's a security blanket. I get it.
Eight.
Well, he had good protection there. He had a pocket, made a nice throw. That was a really good throw. That's going to be the end of quarter number 1.
Ole Miss at least staying on schedule here with the drive. It's pretty important.
They're going to try to get another playoff. I don't think they're going to do it.
No, 1 and 0.
All right, we'll get Pete on here in just a couple minutes.
Pulling up a pulling up stats. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
I figured you were.
I was getting stats up from the quarter. I had to go in and find our passcode for media stats. So in the first quarter, story of the quarter, Kentucky rushes for 150 yards of offense.
Ooh.
32 yards passing. The Wildcats at 182. The Rebels at 119 total. Ole Miss 2 penalties, 7 yards.
Ole Miss on pace to give up more than 700 yards of offense.
On the dot, actually. Yep. No, 600. 150 times 4. Oh, offense, yeah. I meant rushing, but 600 rushing.
Yeah, I meant total offense.
Well, either way.
Doing the math.
I'm not sure which one's worse, but yeah, sure.
As a rule, that won't win.
I mean, come on.
I'm going to call Pete while you're doing that, see if we get him on.
Kentucky 752 on time of possession, fairly even. Ole Miss got it first, though.
Yeah.
And last. Try that again. That is a connection issue, I think. Start over.
Okay. Might get him to call me. Jen says ghosted.
Well, the quarter wasn't that bad, Pete. I mean,
there we go.
Hello.
Hello, Pete. How are you, sir?
I'm well. How are you guys doing?
We are good. Appreciate you spending the time with us. Pete DeWeese, kind enough to spend quarter number 2 with us as he did last week. As we get started here, quarter number 2 in Lexington, Kentucky leads Ole Miss 14-7. Ole Miss with the football in Kentucky territory. I can't remember exactly where. There's a lot to get to. We'll just kind of we have time to do it. I guess let's see. Let's kind of get a game set here. Ole Miss is at the Kentucky 40, and it's second down, I believe. It was 2nd and 5, so it'll be a 3rd and 2 coming up. We'll start with the good news here. What have you seen out of Ole Miss's offense so far, Pete?
You know, I think the quarterback play's been solid. I mean, when he's gotten protection, and I think that was the biggest growth even last week for him, was he's getting through his progressions and he's getting through quickly. There was a play in the first quarter when they got down in the red zone before the first score, where they go play action and he looks downfield, turns and immediately dumps it off. Last year that was taking him time to get through those progressions. And so for them to compete at a high level, they're going to need him to play at a high level. And, so far that maturation, and some of it probably is scheme related and what they're trying to do and how they're coaching him and pushing him through his progressions. But if they can continue to protect him and let him, get comfortable and go through his progression, I think he's done a good job handling that.
We saw Henry Parrish get his first Ole Miss carry, and then Matt Corral slides, takes a hit. The referee called it. So that's a 15-yard penalty on – they all called it. That was a bevy of hankies flying through the air. So all of those, Ole Miss, that's going to put Ole Miss inside the 20, I believe. Okay, it's a good opportunity. They're going to review the play to see whether number 30 gets disqualified from the contest. What in the world is happening on the defensive side of the football, specifically against the run?
Well, I heard you guys talking at the end of the first quarter, and, the talent gap is one thing, and I think that a lot of people like to think of Kentucky is not being as talented as a lot of teams in the SEC, and particularly the elite teams in the SEC East. And I'm not going to say they're wrong, but Kentucky's done a really good job recruiting Metro Atlanta and Florida. And so they have guys, and then they've been able to dip into South Carolina, and to some degree, I think the success that Clemson's had that has made Clemson more of a national recruiter team, that has helped programs like Kentucky that can get into Southern Ohio, get into South Carolina, and are still close enough to get into Atlanta and parts of Florida as well. So there is a bit of a talent gap. I think Kentucky has one of the best offensive lines in the league. And right now they're executing at a high level. Sometimes with Ole Miss, sometimes it's like they can't decide how they're supposed to fit it. And they're kind of late getting there. But Kentucky's also done a great job getting an extra hat to the point of attack so that, even when Ole Miss fits it right, there's more body there. And then you add the ball carrier in, and that's never going to be a successful venture for the defense.
So we're talking a little bit. I mean, tell me if I'm right. Wilson is a quarterback that can run a little bit. Is that adding to the dynamics a little bit too? Because it seemed like he's able to pick gaps, pick his spots. He's got a good bit of patience in the run game. And if they are able to kind of get that gap control and Ole Miss doesn't hold it, it's leading to some other things, right?
It matters. It matters for sure. And some of what they've done, I mean, obviously the last touchdown by Kentucky was a design quarterback run for him. So anytime you can put bodies in front of the quarterback and it's a designed run, you have a chance to out-gap the defense. But even on the read plays, it forces you to handle things a little bit differently on the backside. And it slows some things down. I think Ole Miss is still trying to figure out in their secondary what their strength is going to be. I mean, obviously last week they weren't successful against a really good Florida offense, but they're trying to figure out right now what's going to be our home, because in a perfect world against Kentucky, you're going to add an extra defender to the box. That's a great play design. You're going
really
to
good. He sucked.
Bring an extra safety down. And right now they can't do that because I don't think they trust the secondary.
Really good play call right there, and really good. Correct me if I'm wrong, but Corral did a really good job at the mesh point, pulling in the linebacker, and Yeboah slipped behind him for the easy pass and catch.
He did. You see, he just gives those low shoulders, just that forward body lean at the quarterback position. That's all it takes sometimes. When offenses were under center, you saw so much happen with play fakes, and there are guys that were so good out of it. If you've gone to the spread, one of the interesting things is those play fakes, they happen a lot faster. They're typically not as, they don't sell it the same way you might if you're under center. But you're able to, because the defense is going to see it quicker, right? So you have to be ready to get into the fake, get out of it, and get the ball out in rhythm. And, Matt's done a good job of that a couple times today. They've been forced to hold it a couple times as well, but he did a great job right there.
We were talking a minute ago before that drive started. I mean, it was such a key drive for Ole Miss just then because Kentucky had so much offensive momentum, up 14-7, and we said at the very least you've got to eat some clock there. Ole Miss gets the perfect answer. You get a score, 14-14. Is there anything you can do schematically different at this point if you're DJ Durkin, you're Chris Partridge, or is it just begging guys to be smarter?
Well, you can always be more aggressive. Here's the problem, right? Is you get aggressive, the chance of guys being out of position, the chance of big plays happening, it's very much a risk-reward situation, right? He's trying to keep it a close game right now until he figures it really, I think, just a little bit more about what they're trying to do offensively and how they're going to try to attack him. They've used a ton of gap scheme runs. So last week against Florida, Ole Miss struggled some against gap scheme runs. And so they've used a lot of counter specifically so far in the first half of this game. So they're pulling typically a guard and an H-back or tight end is what they've been using. And for Ole Miss to combat that, they're either going to have to get a safety down more involved in the run game, or they're going to have to be more active because their linebackers are having a hard time right now getting in there, and there's nobody for them to spill it to, and there's really nobody for them to turn it back to. And so he's either going to have to get an extra safety in the box and be committed to playing a little bit more man-to-man on the perimeter, which can also be dangerous against teams that have a mobile quarterback. Or, he's going to have to get a little bit more active with the front and try to force some decisions for his linebackers.
So you're picking a poison at this point.
You are, without a doubt. And listen, Eddie Grand's been around for a long time, and he's calling plays, and he has a good staff. Ole Miss fans that have been around for a while may remember when he was there under Tuberville and then to Auburn and then some different stops. And ever since he's gotten to Kentucky, his offensive line coach, John Schlarman's a really good offensive line coach. And I know John a little bit, and they sit down in the staff room, and it's a staff room where everybody in the room has a lot of input. And so, they probably sat down and watched this Ole Miss team last week and said, hey, gap schemes are going to be the way to attack them. We go right at them. We get them with counter. And they're not going to stop doing it until you force them to. And I think that's going to be part of the thing for them is their bag of tricks. Kiffin will do some things that are kind of cute, right? And take some shots and dial up some explosives. That's not how Kentucky's wired. Their bag of tricks is going to be getting into unbalance. It's going to be motioning a tight end to gain an extra hat. And so Ole Miss is going to have to just find a way to get that extra fitter in there and try to get Kentucky into third and longs and then take advantage of it.
Who's number 2?
What now?
Who's number 2 for Ole Miss? Really good open field tackle right there.
I wasn't even watching.
One of the safeties, yeah.
Yeah, it came up. I've got to learn my roster a little better. It's weird when you don't have a fall camp and you just it's
Jalen Jordan.
Jalen Jordan, really nice play in the open field.
It's interesting. I think I listened to some of the pregame show today as well, guys. So like right here, Kentucky's in an unbalanced formation. If they hand off this power read like they did earlier, Kentucky's got 3 guys where Ole Miss right now has 2 guys in the gap and have the potential to be completely out-gapped. And so right there, the D end makes a nice play. It's hard, specifically this early in the season when you haven't seen a lot of those type of formations. You don't have your automatic checks built in sometimes. And I really do think that Durkin is calling a little bit of a cautious game because he's trying to protect his kids. He's trying to live to play the next play and not put them in situations where they're just going to give up a huge gash.
Yeah,
and
Ole Miss,
they get it here.
Ole Miss forced to 4th down. Kentucky's going to punt. Wow, that's a big answer right there defensively.
It is, and this, it's a situation where in 3rd and 1, this is where we see them get more aggressive. They bring 2 guys off the same side right there. They hedge their bet on where the ball's going to go and do a nice job off the edge. That's a big stop.
Boy, he booted that rugby kick. You don't really see rugby kicks go that deep, but that was a heck of a kick. So Ole Miss takes over, 11:22 to go here in the second quarter, 14-14. Ole Miss at its own 15-ish yard line. Let me ask you a question because Jay Tate's in the thread a minute ago, and he said he loved the Flava Flav gold chain. Lane Kiffin talked about the chains and stuff. You're around young people, football players, prospective football players, and just kids in general. Some of the stuff that Ole Miss is doing, uniforms, the chains, the money bag, on the sideline, all that stuff, where it looks like they're really having fun. Kids notice that?
Listen, these kids live in an instant gratification society. They live in a society that is social media and likes and favorites and retweets is so ingrained into who they are. And we could have a whole nother conversation on that. But when kids see that, the idea of them holding that item them being on social media, them getting attention, they love it. We have a belt that we use with our kids. We give it to a lineman or linebacker after each game that we just thought really just showed toughness and plays after each game. And our kids absolutely love it. It's just, that's this generation of kids. It would have blown my mind in high school to ever think about posing for a picture in a uniform before a game. These kids are going to do it, and it is part of who they are, and they love it, and they feel better about themselves, and it's just it's just a different mindset. But there's not a doubt in my mind, high school kids see those tweets, they see those graphics that they send out, and they watch it on television, and they love it.
Well, I mean, it's all the way through the levels. I mean, the NFL players do the whole posing after turnovers for fake pictures, you know what I mean, or with the photographers in the end zone. I mean, it goes all the way up and down.
And you're right, and that stuff does trickle down. I mean, look, there's one of my favorite players on our roster. I love the young man to death. He's a talented kid. His favorite player in the league is Odell Beckham. And so I have to fight him trying to make one-handed catches all day long. Now he can do that fairly well, but that's just the reality with these kids, and so they see that stuff. And you talk about a guy like Odell Beckham, who, is all about flash, but is talented enough to have some substance behind him. All these kids, that flash resonates for them.
All right, so here's Ole Miss, 1st and 10 at its own 15, 11:22 to go in a tie game. Points are going to matter. You need as many as you can get, obviously, today. If you're Ole Miss, are you trying to do some sort of a sustained drive here? Or is there anything you've seen that maybe they could try to capitalize on?
Their mindset all the time is going to be go, right? If they have success here on first down, they're going to roll as quickly as they possibly can. If they're in a second and long, they're more likely to take their time a little bit. But their mentality, it's the way that they're built. It's go, 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 foot is on the gas. That's the way Levy was, for lack of a better word, raised as a coach. Kiffin likes to use tempo. So that's what you're going to see a ton out of this team. So you get the first down. So right now they're going to get in their tempo most likely. They may go with a look at me kind of check on the sidelines, but most likely they're going to get rolling right now. They probably carry a handful, it may be as many as 10 plays each week that are one-word play calls, where they look to the sideline. It is one signal, and that signal means everything. It tells you formation, it tells you play, it tells you protection, whatever. And in those type of situations, when they're going to get those looks, and they can be successful on first down, you're going to roll right into your one words, and you're going to try to generate another explosive and try to get the defense on their heels.
When you say one word, just a play call at the line of scrimmage, it's one word. Everybody knows what it is.
Yep. Oh yeah. Like, everybody has their own way of communicating those things, and some teams use colors, and some, for us, we use a lot of mascots. War and eagle are the same play. Wars to the right, eagles to the left. We signal it, and our kids are at the line of scrimmage, and everything from formation to motion to cadence to what the play call is all built in. And those guys at UCF, when Levy was there, and even going back to Baylor, as that started to become a trend, and then Kiffin in his days both at Alabama. You run the play.
There he is. He's back. Our stream. Oh, it's back. Stream.
No.
It's our stream. Our stream just kind of hiccuped again, but we're back.
They were digging around the studio this morning, and we're not really sure what's going on.
Yeah, but we're okay. We're back to excellent. We had a little hiccup there where it dropped, but we're back. Hey, I was going to break some news here real quick. Breaking: Elijah Moore's going to play in the NFL. You're welcome.
He's a talented kid, and they're going to continue to move him around. Earlier, I don't know if you caught it, they actually put him in the backfield, and they used the scheme. It was right near the end of the first quarter. They used the scheme that LSU really ran a lot last year with Hilaire Edwards. They put Elijah Moore in the backfield and put him on a corner route from out of the backfield, and you create a divide in the zone, and they were able to hit him for a nice little gain. Got to make that play.
Is that the second down play?
Yes.
Yeah, you're a little behind us. I was making sure you weren't way ahead of us because there's some people in the stream who I think are ahead of us.
I've got two screens going, and and I'm YouTube TV, and they're at different places in the game, and so I've been curious as to whether I was behind or ahead.
Kentucky's defense responds with the stop of their own. Ole Miss can't. It was a 3rd and 10, and they did a little short pass, and it was guarded very
There was
well.
nothing down the field at all.
No, 26 made a good play on Elijah Moore, and so Ole Miss is forced to punt.
That scheme right there is a scheme that's become popular in the last few years. Lincoln Riley in Oklahoma do a lot of it. It looks like it's a screen, but instead of getting linemen out in protection, you're getting linemen to pass pro, and all of the receivers to the play are blocking. And so a lot of teams running it now, and a lot of teams running it out of 3-by-1 trips formations. Ole Miss chose to run it right there out of a 2-by-2, and the kid did a nice job of being in trail. You're kind of hoping probably to get zone coverage right there. You can account for all the bodies underneath, and then you're just trying to get it to an athlete and let him run.
Jamar Richardson with a critical error there, as it should have been inside the one and fell into the end zone for the touchback.
He didn't have his feet where his feet needed to be. It's a hell of a punt, though. Matt Brown talked in the preseason about not wanting to rugby punt to wanting to just punt, and you're starting to see why. He's had some really good kicks when he's had an opportunity. What's going on in A&M, Alabama? I'm checking real quick to get a score there.
You flipped over there at all, Pete?
28-14 Alabama.
I was clicking back earlier. I haven't looked at it lately. I don't I'm still trying to figure out the $75 million contract that Jimbo got.
So are they. 28-14 Alabama, 5:32 and counting left to go in the second quarter. Texas A&M has the football around its own 30, 3rd down and 2 to go. It's so weird to see stadiums like Tuscaloosa not full. It just, when I see it, I know I should be visually used to it by now, but I'm not. It's still jarring a little bit for me.
It is very different. It has been hard to watch NBA basketball, but college football, some stadiums, whatever. But yeah, you look at a stadium like Bryant-Denny, and that just does not look right. The student section being empty, we're used to that. But the rest of the stadium shouldn't be.
It's funny. Yesterday, I was watching a Cubs-Marlins game, a playoff game, and there was a moment, and I want to say it was 5th inning, 6th inning. Cubs and Marlins were tied at the time, 0-0, and the Cubs had the bases loaded with 2 outs, and Schwarber was at the plate, and I thought, it just feels like an intra-squad scrimmage. Like you kept thinking about if it were normal times, it would just be electric in that moment, and instead there's nobody there and he flew out or whatever. But I just remember thinking this is weird, because in a normal deal in a playoff game that would have been crazy.
I can't imagine what it's like for the players, and I know that's been one of the interesting things with NFL games is how much you can hear the communication now that quarterbacks are making pre-snap. And, seeing a lot of people talking. The defense is learning so much more about the offense right now, in theory, because guys on Twitter are. You're picking up on cadence things that normally you may not pick up on, or if you do, you're picking up on it late in the game. And when the stadium's quiet enough that you can hear all of that stuff, I can't imagine what it's like to be in that stadium playing.
This was a replay from earlier in the day. If one of your players did the deal with the celebrating inside the 10 and then ultimately fumbled and cost you a score, what's your reaction as a coach?
Man, mine is probably a lot like Eddie Grand's was when they showed him on the sideline. You spend a lot of time, and it's one of those things that it's going to happen. You really, what your hope is that the kid learns from it and it doesn't happen again. When they first put in the blindside block rules a couple of years ago where you couldn't block behind the play, we busted a play on the first drive of a game, and a team that on paper was going to be a lot better than us anyway. And we roll out there, bust a big run, and the kid blocks behind the play, and it gets called back, and we never sniffed the end zone again until the fourth quarter. And you go off on the kid. And since then, the kid's probably been in 10 situations to do the same thing and hasn't done it once. So that's really, it's over. It's done. You get on to the kids. You hope you learn from it, and you hope it doesn't become an issue again.
Yeah.
And you hope the whole team learns from it. You don't have to do it with each individual player one by one.
Listen, that's the beautiful thing about a film room on Monday is all you got to do is show them all, and the lesson is taught. You know,
and you're better off waiting for the film room to make your point than you are in that moment, right?
It's a point has to be made, but it doesn't have to be as big of a point as coaches often make it. Let me just say that.
Yeah,
we all. We all have emotion, and everybody wants to be competitive, and some manage it better than others. The point has to be made, but at the same time, you go back to last week's game, and you look at Mullen. He decides to bring in Emory Jones, who throws an interception. Ole Miss scores. Florida comes back on the field, and Emory Jones is back at quarterback. It's not Kyle Trask. At some point, you're going to need that kid to make a play. And so you can either demoralize that young man, or you can try to pick him up and give him another opportunity. And you only got so many kids on your roster. And right now, when kids are potential to be quarantined and everything else, you better make sure that mentally, just as much as physically, they're in line to play.
3rd and 14 here for Kentucky, Pete. If you're DJ Durkin, Chris Partridge, what are you doing here?
I'm expecting screen or draw to start with. They haven't exactly shown the ability to throw it down the field. So if you're thinking draw, a lot of people in these type of situations would use, kind of what's become a hot term, or a hot thing is they're going to show pressure, bail out of it, play zone underneath. It looks like here they're not even going to really show it. They're just going to be content, probably use a stunt in the line. They try to. Oh, that's a pretty bad holding call, but that's what you want right there. If you get aggressive in those situations, it's so easy to want to get aggressive in those situations. If you don't have the secondary to trust in man-to-man coverage, that's what you do. You play zone, you let the D-line try to go hunt, and then you just keep all your eyes on the quarterback so you can drive on the ball and try to rally up.
So Ole Miss forces Kentucky to punt, gets a favorable roll. Ole Miss is going to take over 1st and 10, 6:46 to go at about the 25-ish yard line. So 2 back-to-back stops for the Rebels here in the second quarter, which has to make DJ Durkin and staff feel pretty good, because that first quarter was a disaster. The second quarter has not been. It has been a pretty good defensive performance for the Rebels. I can honestly say I did not see that coming.
I think to some degree, I think they've settled in. They've been able to probably make some adjustments on the sideline. And again, this early in the season, it is difficult facing a quality opponent that you may not have a ton of film on. You go back and you watch Kentucky last year, and once the quarterback went down, they essentially became a Wildcat offense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they put Bowden at quarterback and just said, "Hey, let's see what we can do." Yeah.
And still ran the ball all over people, knowing. And I mean, they've been like that for years. You go back to when they had Benny Snell. Everybody in the stadium and watching at home knew who was getting the football. It didn't matter. They had success because they've done a really good job. At the offensive line position and good job scheming things up. And so now that they've kind of settled in, Durkin's seen the formations that they seem to like right now. You've recognized that they're not trying to press it down the field. The things they have thrown have been intermediate throws. And so you're starting to get the mindset of, okay, this is what we're getting situationally. This is what we're getting formation wise. How do we protect it? Right. What are the best ways for us to either attack or protect in those situations? And hopefully they continue to see some success there. The D-line has not played as poorly as you might think based on those stats coming out of the first half. A lot of it is second level and third level defenders. The D-line can fit things perfect, and if the guys behind them don't clean it up, it's an issue. And right now they're getting a little cleaner in those second level fits, I think.
You were them based on what you've seen for almost 6 quarters, how active would you be in the quick fix market, the grad transfer market, the transfer market on defense?
I don't. It's been no secret since he was hired that he's going to be interested in the grad transfer, and he's gotten some in, and he's got one sitting on the shelf that is a whole nother conversation. I'm sure he'd love to have out there.
Yeah, just a little bit.
But I think the junior college one is always a bit risky. There's good players out there, and you do your homework on those kids. And there's good players out there, and you can definitely get in some big time impact players. You can't put everything in those kids, right?
Yeah.
Because you put everything in those kids and they're there for 1 or 2 years, and when they're gone, you find yourself back in the same situation. So when you're recruiting, you have to make sure that you're going to balance those kids out with some high school talent. So I think they're going to try to bring in some really good older guys that can give immediate impact. But he's smart enough to know that if you don't have depth behind it, none of it's going to matter.
All right, Ole Miss opens this possession with Plumlee at quarterback. He does a quarterback run. Looks like he got about 6 yards. I'm on record as saying I don't like this. I know it's a change of pace. I know it's trying to appease a player and all that, but you just had a possession with Corral that was really effective.
Set up a 3rd and short.
3rd and about 1, yeah. I don't like it, Pete. Am I crazy?
I'm not going to tell you're crazy. Their reason for doing it, whether it's to appease somebody, the other reality is this: how good do they feel about the situation if Corral suddenly can't be on the field?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
If you get in a situation where whether it's injury or illness or whatever the case may be, if you can't roll number 2 out there and 10's who you got, he needs to be ready, and he needs to have some snaps under him. And obviously he got a lot last year.
Yeah.
So if you get an opportunity where you can run your offense and run what you want to do with him in the game, a lot of people are going to take that opportunity. The other thing is I think to some degree you also want to identify how are they going to play me differently if he's in the game. And what changes schematically, and does it give me an advantage? Because Ole Miss has had success, 14 points, and they've moved the ball some, but they're not just breezing down the field. Kentucky's too good up front for them to do that. So, trying to find another way to manufacture yards while also preparing him to play when you need him to play is big. That's a really nice play. They're going to get a holding, it looks like, but that's a really nice play by the quarterback.
Yeah, Corral really improvised.
And took a shot.
Yeah, he got hit.
And that's why you have to give Plumlee some. Is there a point in the season where that goes away? Probably. You'd rather see it now, in my opinion, than some crucial moment in the fourth quarter. And if you're going to do it in the fourth quarter, you need to have done it at some point earlier in the game.
Oh, it's holdings on Kentucky.
Oh, nice.
I guess my question though with Plumlee is, it's very simplistic. It's not like he's running a full book at all. Does that still just snaps in general? Is that getting him enough? Because it's not like he's necessarily going through any progressions or throwing the ball at all. It's just a whole lot of kind of reads and a little bit of option there in the middle.
Yeah, like you go back to the first down play in this drive, and they go with a little trips unbalanced look, and they motion the tailback to the trips. And they, it looks like an RPO. I don't know if he's got the ability to throw it out there. If they've got numbers out there, you hope that he does. So, there's definitely something. If all you're doing is calling designed runs for him, it does change things a little bit. If you're giving him the ability to make some throws and do some things and without limiting him too much, then you can justify the attack, right? At some point, it becomes just a little bit square peg, round hole if literally all you're doing. Now, all we've seen him do is run the football, but I can't say that's necessarily what they've given him the opportunity to do.
Okay.
3rd and 4 right here. Big opportunity for Ole Miss to keep a drive alive. Let's see. It's at the Kentucky at their own.
This wouldn't be 4 down.
The Ole Miss 47. No, I wouldn't think so.
No, with 5 minutes to go, I wouldn't think 4 down. You've got a punter. You have a chance to pin him deep. You had a chance to on the last punt.
It's going to be 4th and 2.
It's going to be 4th and 2, yeah. 4th and about 1.5. They've had some protection breakdowns here. Let's see what happens. 56 got beat inside, and that made him move out. Yeah, Kentucky just beat 56 right there, and that broke the play down.
Kentucky's D-line is pretty active. The Ole Miss offensive line, I think the guards have struggled the most in the past 2 games.
Yeah.
I feel like the tackles have been okay, and they're rotating more here. I think 72 started the game at right guard. There's somebody else in there now. So they're starting to kind of rotate a little bit. The interior of that line is where people are going to continue to attack them with different movements and pressures, and understandably so. That's to the best of my knowledge, they're young there. They're not extremely experienced, obviously, but they're going to have to continue to improve there if they want to be successful as the season goes on.
Kentucky with 4 minutes to go, you run your normal offense. They probably, that's kind of just enough time for them not to have to hurry much at all, right?
The way that they've run the football in particular, there's no need not to, I think you stay in your normal stuff. You maybe work the sidelines. This is the type of situation where you might see a little bit more sprint out or bootleg, trying to get easy throws into the flat and give kids a chance to maybe get out of bounds, but there's no need to be in a hurry. That's not how they're wired. The last thing that they want to do is turn around and give it back to Ole Miss with a lot of time. So right there, Kentucky gets into an unbalanced formation, and they've got trips out to the field. So you're forcing Ole Miss to put 3 defenders out there, and then they're running counter back into that unbalanced receiver. So Ole Miss spends a lot of time playing cover 3 variations, and you're forcing that alley player, the guy who should be there to clean up that run fit, you're forcing him, by formation, to widen out. So now Ole Miss is going to, to combat that formation, they've either got to decide, okay, let's play a game with the other safety, or let's find a way to get a backer back over there, but now that's leaving you short potentially on the other side of the field. So Kentucky's done some really nice things to affect the coverage shell of Ole Miss. And as much as people think about D-line and linebackers in the run game, if your coverage is not paired with your front call defensively, you really, a 2-3 yard game very quickly becomes a 10-12 yard game.
Holding on Kentucky there might have potentially saved a loss of yardage, but also helps Ole Miss out with a pretty big play by Wilson there with the feet. The second 15 now for the Cats, 2:56, 2:55, 2:54 on our time check, just for people out there. Got to be a flag, right? Yeah.
Yeah, they're going to have to talk at halftime a little bit about in-passing situations, containing the pocket better. There were times last week where it cost them, and Trask was able to move around a little bit. But with this kid in particular, you got to be careful. So Kentucky just tried to go with the exact same scheme. They're going to get called. That was the exact same touchdown that Ole Miss hit earlier to the tight end. They tried to go back with the exact same look and slip him down the middle.
Pretty easy call there, it looks like.
That's one of those that the offense may have gotten bailed out by a poorly thrown football. He didn't really grab him. He wasn't holding him that much, but with the way the ball was thrown, it was definitely going to look like interference.
2nd and 2 at the 31-yard line. Gets the first down,
down to the 37-ish.
Off left guard. They've got plenty of time. Everybody's got the full complement of timeouts.
And Kentucky gets it after the half.
Quarterback run written all over it. Gave him the read play. Yeah, they're continuing to do things formationally that are just daring Ole Miss to play man to man and load the box. And right now, Ole Miss just doesn't seem comfortable doing that defensively.
They're trying to play zone.
Yeah, they are. That's what they want to do. It's a mixture of cover 4 and cover 3. And right here, they're playing man to man on this down. And they go with little brute sprint out right there, and you get a safety matched up on a slot receiver right there, and it's just advantage Kentucky. And I think
it was
Ole
just a
Miss
mismatch, right? Because he had two different reads running at two different depths. And Henry picked up the short route, and the deep route was there because of a mismatch.
Yeah, just a traditional bootleg. The tight end's coming back across in the flat. The linebacker picks him up, and they rotated the safeties late and got into an off, like a cover 1 look.
Yeah.
And number 2 just ended up on the slot receiver. It's a tough position for him.
Another good open field tackle by Jalen Jordan. But a couple of them. They're trying to create some of the plays that you talked about earlier in the week, Chase, where they get rid of the ball quickly, get it out in space, and see if they can't create something horizontally as opposed to vertically.
Yeah, that is a really nice tackle by him. I'll say this, the corner did a nice job as well. He kind of got lined up late. He's got to force that ball back inside. If it gets outside, it's a world of trouble for the defense. So right there. So he did a nice job of turning it back in and just trusting that the safety would come up and make the play.
Kentucky takes a timeout, 2nd and 4, 51 seconds left in the half. By the way, Alabama up 35-14 over Texas A&M at the half in Tuscaloosa.
Rolling offensively there with Mac Jones.
Huh?
Rolling offensively for Bama.
Yeah, for sure. Alabama will be a handful for Ole Miss next week, to say the least.
They're going to be a handful for a lot of people, and I'm sure Kiffin will be dialed in for that one, but I'm sure Saban will as well.
Yeah, Lane probably dreads a lot of that next week. I mean, I think he looks forward to it somewhere down the road. Saturday is probably not the day that he's been looking forward to.
There's a bit of a talent discrepancy between the two programs at the moment.
Nick's had a little more time to build his program than Lane's had to build his. And I suspect you'll see the difference on the field. All right, it's a big moment here. If you're Ole Miss, you're obviously wanting to hold them to a field goal or less. You don't want to give up a touchdown right here.
Analysis.
You're welcome.
Grind, hello in our chat. How you feeling about Auburn, Georgia, day of?
It's kind of like that line in Major League where says that broadcast school wasn't for nothing. I can't, but okay. Go ahead and just.
Yeah, the Auburn, Georgia game will be interesting.
All right, clock's running, 42 seconds and running. It's going to be a 3rd down. If you're Ole Miss, what are you looking for here? Another run to try to – would this be an opportunity for Kentucky to try some sort of a play action and a strike down the field, knowing that it would be 4th and 1?
It's just something they hadn't shown. I think you sell out on the run right here, and they can do it, but they just haven't shown that they want to do it. Not one thing has been a down the field play call for Kentucky at this point.
Yeah. Literally, they've only kind of thrown the ball down the field once on that play earlier in this drive where he went to the second level with the mismatch on the safety. That's about it. Everything else has been very horizontal, very quick release. Smoke got hurt on that play a little bit, which in the event that he's out for any length of time could be significant because he's a big part of their offense.
I wouldn't be surprised, and my television's behind. It may have already happened. I may look like an idiot, but I wouldn't be surprised to see him try to get something out into the flat.
The snap's right here. It was a quarterback keeper on the fake, and Wilson's going to score. Touchdown, Kentucky. He faked. You'll see it here in a couple seconds behind me. He just made a mesh play, made a read, and then Ole Miss didn't touch him.
They go back into the unbalanced look, and there's Ole Miss being aggressive right there. And so the end, 22, Tisdale, he's got the quarterback on there. His normal responsibility is probably running back. And right there, they pressure, they bring the linebacker, they blow him through B gap. So the end has to squeeze down and be ready to feather back to the Q, or he's got to go to the Q right now. He stepped down, the shoulders turned a little bit. That was all the quarterback needed to see. And then from there, they were just out leveraged in the secondary, and he's rolling.
So the play's made where Tisdale makes the wrong read, makes the wrong play.
Yeah, it is. And again, formation. They're in an unbalanced quads formation. So they have literally taken all the secondary support. They have pulled them over there. And so right there, if you're Ole Miss, you're hedging your bets on an inside run and in a gap scheme, which is what they've shown the most of. And sure, it might look like the right call, but you get what you get right there. And bottom line is, if the end doesn't make the play, you have nobody, because they've created a formation that's altered the structure of the back end of the defense, and that's what we see.
So if you're Lane Kiffin here at halftime, what are you saying to your guys?
I think offensively, you talk about just trying to stay on the field. You got to be a little bit better up front. Defensively, it's 21 points. You've given up a ton of rushing yards, but they've also gotten some stops, right? So the reality is, you're sitting there as a staff and you have the conversation of what worked, why did it work, and you try to go back to it. You need to make sure you've got an answer. Like they showed the replay right there, and that plays on Tisdale. It also kind of looked like Tisdale tripped a little bit, or he definitely turned his shoulders and almost looked like he was off balance a little bit. And you're never going to have a chance to make that play when that happens. So you talk about cleaning those things up when they're giving us the unbalanced, the quads or the trips unbalanced. What are you going to do to what are you going to do to counter that? Because that's where they're taking advantage of you right now, is they're removing overhang players, and then they're getting into that C gap where you just don't have a body.
28 seconds left. You've got all of your timeouts, but you don't want to make a mistake here. How aggressive would you be 1st and 10 on your own 19?
I probably hand the football off and go to halftime.
It appears that's what they did too. That's what I would have done.
Look, if you get a return there, ball's out 35, 40-yard line, it's a little bit more of a conversation. But the bottom line is, you haven't been great in pass protection up front, especially on the interior. So you drop back to pass, and if you give up a sack, that's not where you want to live. So just running the ball, get out of the half right here, is so often the right move. And here's the deal. If Ely pops that and gets you out near midfield and gets you out of bounds or gets the clock stopped, now you roll, right? You call that first play hoping something freaky happens and you're ready for the second play. But the reality is, you're just trying to make sure you're not turning the ball over.
Well, Pete, as always, really appreciate it. So kind of you to give us this much of your time here on a Saturday afternoon. I hope the family as well. We'll look forward to the second half, and hopefully look forward to talking to you again next week when Ole Miss and Alabama get going.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. It's fun to do this. Feel free to reach out if you got any more questions, and we'll be in touch about next week.
Let me ask you that real quick while we have you. For people who are interested in doing the kind of thing you talked about, where you do a film review, whether it's during the season or even after the season, how do they get in touch with you?
If you're on the website, you can find me on Rebel Grove. Run the Power 99 or something. I don't remember. I created it several years ago. Is my username on there. You can also find me on Twitter at Coach DeWeese or at Pete DeWeese. I kind of have a professional and a personal account. So you can find me on either one of those things. Not too hard to track down if you can spell my name right. So I don't create a whole lot of crazy usernames or anything.
All right, Pete, thanks so much. Enjoy the rest of your night, and enjoy the fam. Thanks, bud.
Same to you. Take care.
It's Pete DeWeese. It's halftime in Lexington, 21-14. I believe Chase is working on – Haley just got here, I would imagine. But like I told you, I'll take some calls. If you want to take calls, we can do that. I'll put the number up on Skype. I got to find it here in a second. I'm going to switch to a different screen so that I can get to it. I think it's 662-259-0991. I'll make an overlay that says that, and you guys can call. Get some stats and that kind of thing to you here in just a few minutes. So there's the number. Got it up. Just missed a call. If you were just trying to call, give me a call back. I can't. I had to type in an overlay, so I couldn't see the Skype call when it came in. So, but it's open. Lines are open. If you want to call, talk about what you've seen in the half. Again, our thanks to Pete DeWeese. That was great stuff. He sees a different game than I see. Hey, caller, who do we have?
Hey, are you talking to Kenneth?
Yeah, hey, Kenneth. What's up, man?
Hey, what's going on, Neal? Good
How are
to
you?
talk to you, man.
Good talking to you.
I'm good, man. Well, I could be doing better if it was 21-14 the other way. I just have a quick question. And how long do you think it's going to take? Will it be 1, 2 recruiting classes before our defensive line looks anything like an SEC line, or is it going to be multiple years?
Well, I think realistically it's going to take some hybrid of the two, right? Where it's probably going to take multiple years, but I do think you're going to see them be really active in the transfer market, the grad transfer market, a JUCO. They committed a JUCO defensive tackle just the other day. I think they'll be aggressive with quick fix, and then I think it's going to be obviously priority number one.
I agree with what you're saying, but I know that there are a lot of times to where the JUCOs and the transfers don't take right away.
Yeah, it takes time.
That's killing me, man.
It's why realistically, I mean, it's a process. Look, you don't go. Here's the thing, and I always tell people this, and it's hard because, you guys are dealing with, like, I saw it yesterday with the Cubs, right, where it's obvious that just some guys are done and it's not going to work and that kind of thing. These are your guys, and they're wearing your jersey, and you love them. But some of them just aren't SEC players, and so
I don't know how much I love them today.
So you got to go replace them, and it's very difficult to get defensive players. Impact defensive linemen get recruited by everybody. There's a lot there. It's going to be hard. It's going to take time, realistically.
Yeah, well, it's the most important because other than offensive line, I mean, the offensive and defensive lines are the most important parts on the field. So.
Yeah, well, there's no doubt. And then another area for Ole Miss, and you see it in recruiting, they're really trying to address the defensive secondary where they've got to get faster, they've got to get longer, they've got to get more athletic, and you can see them trying to do that.
Yeah, I see that. All right, man. Well, I'll let you get you another call. Thanks for your time.
Thank you. Bye. So the phone lines are open. I'll take calls for a little while here at the half, and that's the question we get a lot is what's the timetable? And the truth is it takes time to rebuild a program. What I was saying a minute ago, I kind of lost my train of thought. You don't go 4-8 by accident. You go 4-8 for a reason. And the last 3 years for this program, it's 6-6, 5-7, 4-8, something along those lines. Those are records that you come about honestly. Who do we have, caller?
Hey, it's Leif, Neal.
Hey, Leif, what's up, man?
Had something funny happen in the first part of the game. My dad called me, and he said, "Hey, is Kentucky playing today?" I said, "Yeah, they're playing Ole Miss right now." I said, "It started about an hour and a half ago." He goes, "Oh, well, it's probably almost over then." I said, "No, it's not even halftime." He said, "Well, your mom wants to watch the Kentucky game." And I said, "Now, it's football, Dad, not basketball." He goes, Oh, hell, we don't care anything about we just want to watch basketball.
Yeah, no basketball.
Yeah.
No basketball in early October.
But, yeah. God bless my parents. I didn't get my love for sports from them, I can tell you that. Man, the defense was lackluster, but, especially that first quarter, I mean, it was terrible. They looked like they started bending more than breaking that second quarter. We got to stop this stuff with Plumlee coming in, and
I'm with you. I hate it.
It stopped being cute, and tempo was the only thing that worked. That first drive, tempo. Now, when you're switching in, a guy that shouldn't be quarterback, put him in a quarterback, that's not tempo, plain and simple. So just stop getting cute. I mean, if he doesn't like it, if Plumlee doesn't like it, well, just sit on the bench, figure something out, play another position or get him a transfer portal. I mean, you just can't just keep on appeasing him for a couple plays that just totally takes you out of rhythm.
Well, and part of the problem with it, with the tempo also, is the way this defense is right now. You can't really afford a quick 3 and out, and I don't know. I don't like taking out a hot quarterback or a quarterback who's playing well. I'd get it if Corral had a couple series where he looked discombobulated. Maybe he needed a breather, but
yeah,
that felt forced.
He's throwing darts. He's got
a great arm. He really does.
And someone that's not throwing darts is Terry Wilson. Like everybody here keeps on talking about how great he is and how he's earned the spot. Well, he earned the spot by having Benny Snell and Lynn Bolden on his offense, and then he got hurt last year. So I mean, it's like watching Drew Brees out there. I mean, he's handing off or short horizontal passes, nothing more than that. So, yeah, Terry Wilson has not impressed me, but he never has.
Yeah, it's still a very winnable. It's a very winnable football game for Ole Miss for sure. I mean, it's still the game's far from over.
It's winnable. I just want to see us do well. I mean, this is growing pains, and this is what it's like. Sometimes it's going to be a little bit something fun, and sometimes it's bang your head against the wall. So I gotta run a couple errands real quick before halftime's over.
Okay, thanks for the call, wife. Appreciate it. Chase, how are you?
I'm lovely. Just getting a little food situated, see you were manning the phone lines, getting everything handled, talking to the people, if you will.
Talking to the people. Who do we have? Hey, caller, turn your device down. You're on.
I got to run a couple errands real quick before.
Yeah, I don't think he realizes he's on.
Okay, thanks for the call. I appreciate it.
Hey, caller, turn your device down. You're on. He didn't get it.
He did not want to talk to us.
He didn't. I don't think he quite understood. Hey, who do we have?
Hey, this is Kaysen from Baldwin. How are you guys?
Hey, Kaysen, what's up?
Hey, just a quick question. The defense, they kind of look similar to last week, and I just wanted your guys' opinion on, we had a scenario there, had about a 4th and 2, and about the, it was in our territory, but it was close to like the 48, and then, you had that 30 seconds with 3 timeouts at the half. I understand that you're not just going to throw everything to the wind, but do you think that they hit a point where they're just like, hey, we can't stop anybody? Do we? Like, when does it really reach that next level, I guess, is what I'm asking.
Yeah.
We've kind of gone for some of the iffy ones, but when does it take that next level?
I thought the punt at midfield was the right move. If you don't convert there, you're putting your defense in a real tough spot. And then 30 seconds left. The key thing there is that you don't want to make a mistake and go down 2 scores. Right now, you're just down 1 score. You're very much in the football game. So, I don't know. I mean, you don't want to send a message to your team that in week number 2 of a 10-week season that you don't believe in them at all. I mean, there is a mental part of this as well. And So far, I don't have a question with any of those decisions. My only question is the insistence on the change of pace offense. I just don't like it. It doesn't appear to be working.
Yeah, I can agree there for sure. But that's fine. I appreciate you guys. I'll hang up now and let's take another call.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you. A lot of offensive questions, defensive questions.
It's a little bit of everything. Just people pretty well. People are dialed in okay. No one's totally worked up just yet. Everybody's okay.
Florida ends up only winning by 14. Little recap: Tennessee hammered Missouri pretty good. Bama scoring a ton of points on A&M so far today.
Yep. Let's see,
It's kind of one of those. You got one?
Yeah. Hey, who do we have?
This is Robert Mack in the YouTube stream. I
Hey,
have
Robert.
one statement and two questions, and I'll hang up and let you guys answer.
Okay.
Sure.
All right. One, the statement is, I wish they had quit forcing the JRP thing on offense because it seems to interrupt it quite a bit. First question is, well, so what's the deal with Reese? And the second question is, should they tell JRP to go to safety or just go ahead and transfer? We appreciate everything you guys are doing, and thank you guys.
Okay, thanks. The deal with Reese, I'll take it. I'll take the easy question. You're welcome. The deal with Reese is, I don't know. He's just not been cleared by the NCAA. I don't know.
Do you think his tweet had any sort of negative or positive
help.
impact? Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It hurt. Yeah, it hurt. It. When you play that card and you can't support that card, and I'm not questioning him whether he's right or wrong. I'm just saying if you can't support it with evidence, it doesn't help anything.
Yeah.
And then the second question is about Plumlee. Do you tell him, hey, we're moving you or else? Here's what I don't know. How confident are you in the quarterbacks behind Plumlee and Corral? How comfortable are you in?
I don't think to a level where you want to go there at this point. It doesn't seem like it, at least.
Now, I will say
by what we know.
The offense that it appears they want to run, Plumlee can't run it. The throws, over the middle.
Frankly,
of
they're
the
not even
field.
trying when he comes in. That was kind of
Right.
my point with Pete. Was it's sort of a disservice to everybody all at the same time because you're bringing John Rice in, and again, maybe he's got some throw options off of it. Maybe it's I don't know, but from what's actually being executed on the field, it's a lot of just choose a gap and run concept versus not really allowing him to just throw or run a normal offense. It's such a change of pace that can be keyed on. It feels like it's bogging it down, and it's not necessarily fair to John Rice all at the same time in this because it's such a different pace and everything from what they were doing with than what they're doing with Corral.
I got another call coming in.
On field, it's a lot of just choose a gap and run. Turn your device down, please.
Yeah, I do have that. Let me find it.
Hello?
Go
Hey,
ahead.
caller, who do we have?
I think it's the same guys earlier.
I think he's confused with his device. So when you call in, if you hear it answer, turn your device
Down. Yeah, you're on a delay.
Yeah, there you go, Chase.
Okay. I was just going to point out every week during the season, we will do Oxford Eats brought to you by Visit Oxford. Again, visit oxfordms.com. You go to the page, and you can see all the events. You can see places to eat, places to stay. We're going to pick some of our favorites. We're going to do some kind of down the beaten path ones a little bit, too, that maybe if you're coming into town you won't be aware of. But we'll try to introduce some of those to you as well. We're going with Funkies today. We did Raptors last week. We've it's been our location for a lot of our live shows in town over the years. And Lee, he put the deck out a couple weeks ago for outdoor dining. We've got a new oven in place with a pizza. First time I've actually had it from the new oven, so we'll do that. We've got some pepperoni pizza. We got barbecue chicken nachos. Got some cheesy bread and more from Funkies again right there on the square.
Who do we have, caller? Hey, caller.
Hey, what's up, guys? This is Matt. How are y'all today?
Hey, Matt. We're good. How are you?
I'm good. I got to say, this is my. I wasn't able to do the live stream last week with had a bunch going on, but got two screens set up today. Got y'all going on a Bluetooth speaker. It's nice. And I just switched to YouTube TV so that it's synced up real well. Big fan. It's been great.
Good. Appreciate you.
But
Appreciate that.
But yeah, I was just gonna say it's blatantly obvious that the only thing that's gonna fix this is recruiting. But now with this staff in place, I just really feel like, and if you think back to when Nutt and Freeze's both their tenures didn't really end great, but when they got here, they took guys from the previous staff and kind of got more out of them. The E.J. Eppersons. The first one that came to my mind. But
ooh, that's a
guys
name
like
from the
that
past.
at the
Yeah.
beginning of both coaches' tenure that maybe as fans we didn't really think a lot about, but they kind of got every drop out of them. So I think, I'm trying to tell myself as a fan, yeah, it's going to take some recruiting cycles to get out of this. But when you see kind of some of the pieces in place, you just hope, good coaching and just energy around the program that they can just, maximize every bit,
Yeah, and
what are y'all thoughts on that?
It's absolutely a real thought. I was thinking back to Nutt's first year when he got here. It didn't happen instantly. That team lost some games early. It was really sloppy early. The wins came the wins that everybody remembers came late in the year. Houston was all into they remember November and all that stuff, which ended up being a running joke at the end of his tenure. But at the beginning, people were like, wow, maybe he's onto something. And then I think back to Freeze's first year in 2012, and it's the same thing. Some of those moments that I think we all remember came late in the season.
Absolutely. And then like when Freeze got here, there were some guys kind of on the spot right now, but there were guys on both sides of the ball that were kind of forgotten about, under Nutt, and then Freeze kind of got a lot out of them at the end of their tenure. The Gilbert Peñas,
yeah,
the Uriah Grant, guys like that, or maybe the JUCO holdovers and Freeze got a lot out of them. And so you're hoping that at the beginning of this coaching turnover that we're able to kind of maximize some guys and, like y'all said, add transfers, and it gets better sooner rather than later.
Yeah, I just feel like I'm playing the role of therapist sometimes. This season, this season was always and is always going to be difficult. It was always going to be a challenge. I think if I'm an Ole Miss fan today, I'm keeping my sights ahead. And I know that's hard as a fan to not think about the here and now. And this game's completely up in the air right now at 21-14. But the reason you hired Lane Kiffin was not to win in 2020. The reason you hired Lane Kiffin was to change your profile, to
absolutely
to
put a product in that recruits can relate to.
Yeah,
right now.
and that is a process. There's no place to buy that at Walmart. It's time.
Well, it's almost offensively and defensively. It's almost kind of perfect in different ways because in offense, they can at least see what you're trying to do. They understand, have a picture. And on defense, it's, hey, we need more talent. Come play. I mean, it's not overly complicated. It's on both sides. You're getting so much of that there.
Hey, thanks for the call. Really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Y'all have a good day.
You too. All right, I'm going to close the Rafters Music and Food Hotline here. Third quarter is about to get started.
I'll tell you this week, a couple things going on around Oxford on October 6th. You've got the Queen's Cartoonist at the Ford Center, 7:30 to 9:30 for that. Tunes Around Town is on Friday night, 5 to 7. Those have been pretty good events so far. They've had several of those leading up to Friday, and then obviously Ole Miss and Alabama, 5 o'clock on Saturday afternoon. Most people know the pizza there, the buffalo chicken nachos from Funky's. I can't eat too much of that, but it is one of the more, I guess, secretive things that most people like.
Yeah.
Really, really good stuff there. Got a little heat to it. Take advantage of that.
I'm going to leave you with it for just a second. I'll be back.
Yep. Matt, if you're heading on over to the MPW online shop, the pullovers and the polos are my recommendation. I will say that the Imperial caps are have been hot tickets so far too early. I really like. I wanted something other than the Nike hats that we had earlier on, and we have this now. So. Robert, thank you very much for the super chat. Really appreciate that. All you guys who've helped us out with super chats, again, trying to invest back in the into the product. You see that with the cameras, the video stuff, and more that we've done. He says, do you think JRP speed could help the defense? Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Look, John Rice was recruited on defense by a lot of different coaches. That's very possible. It is something that could help, but I mean, it's got to be something he wants to do. It has to be something that happens, and for him to choose that path. So yeah, I think it's very possible. I think he would help, but you can't necessarily force it, and it's not there right now. I just think if you're going to let him, I mean, if you it's one or the other. Either you run your offense with one quarterback, or if you let him play, you give him a little more options there, or at least force him to use more of the options, because when that happens, you do open up the book a little bit. 3rd and 1 here for Kentucky. Time check 14:10, 14:09, 14:08, 14:07 on down. We definitely got it. Picked up about 7. At this point, you're just trying to force some 3rd downs and kind of see where it goes from there. He mentioned the stats a second ago. Yeah, rushing yards right now, Kentucky has 235 rushing yards. Ole Miss has 79. Kentucky has 62 passing yards. Ole Miss only at 116 from that. Total yards, 297 to 195 right now in the way of the Wildcats. Just gashing the Rebels. Wilson with the absolute correct read on the keeper there. Not sure it wasn't open somewhat around the end as well. A little bit of a misleading stat from Taylor there, because, yeah, they had the most rushing yards of anybody not named the Service Academy, but they ran the exact same kind of offense. It was all run heavy. It was not balanced. It was just Bowden doing a lot of option-type concepts from the quarterback position. Yeah, I mean, they're not getting touched till 5-6 yards down the field right now, reading the stream. I mean, it's It's getting gashed.
Yeah, I was watching those few plays just getting beat at the line of scrimmage too.
Finally get a little penetration there on that one.
I don't know where Clowney is. I don't know whether he's – I just don't know. My guess is they feel like he's just not ready. Or there's some sort of an injury. Just gashed on the left side.
I might mention the Egg Bowl. I mean, will Mike Leach run against this team? Because it's just absolutely the way to drive the ball down the field.
I mean, and you've got Kylan Hill.
Ole Miss in a pretty serious situation now, getting this thing back in a second. You allowed them to 2-for-1 you on both sides of the half.
Missed the extra point. Oh, it went through. Oh, wow.
Yeah, JD said you can't pass on Ole Miss. Yeah, my point is, I mean, you can kind of do it in multiple different ways. There's no reason to be completely as imbalanced as Leach has been. If this keeps up, are you changing some of what you expect from the season simply, no matter what the offense does, simply because the defense cannot stop anybody?
Well, sure. It's been my thing.
We didn't gloss it. We talked about it, but everybody was just so excited about the offense all week that it didn't necessarily get the time. I mean, the defense was absolutely as bad as the offense was good last week.
Yeah, and it's I don't have the numbers in front of me, but they're getting gashed at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, I read them a second ago. Kentucky at this point has 295 rushing yards.
Through less than 2.5 quarters.
357 total.
That's just – it can't happen. I thought Ole Miss's defensive line would be bad this year. I worried about the back end. I did think the linebackers would be a little better than they have been so far.
That's the one thing everybody kind of did talk about a little bit. And again, we haven't seen anything, but that was the way it was phrased, the way people discussed it over the course of the last couple of weeks. But now in saying that, when the offensive line is this bad, you're not keeping hats off the linebackers. They're having to do so much there in the middle of the field when there's just either no pressure from the front four, or they're allowing the offensive lineman to get to the second level and put hands on them. How much of this is just coaching and recruiting from previous staffs, and how much of this is still NCAA bill-due a little bit?
Oh, it's both. But, the NCAA hampered their ability to recruit some of these older classes. You see it. And then I think they made some evaluation mistakes last year or two, and the program had no momentum.
Too many empty spots.
Yeah. A week ago, down 2 scores, Ole Miss answered right here. We're about to see what they do now.
Yeah, this is there's no doubt this is testing Lane's patience.
Oh, guys are going to get processed. That's one of the questions in the thread. I don't know the number, but some. Oh, I love the play call. He was down. Ground calls the fumble. Nice catch by Yeboah. That ball was thrown behind him just a little bit. Mingo's had a nice game.
He had a couple catches.
Yeah, it's like 3 or 4 catches. He's had a nice outing. Another nice play by Mingo. I know it was more that caught it, but Mingo had a nice physical block right there.
He's the next profile for that kind of guy, though, that can be physical out on the edge, can give him that type of dynamic that in the vein of a Treadwell or somebody out on the edge. Again, You always compare it to good players, but
nice call. Oh, nice throw.
There's the answer.
That was a big time throw, man. I don't know if you had a chance to appreciate that. That was you. He didn't throw it through a window. He threw it through a window pane. Watch this. Boom. Because 28 has really good coverage right there on Mingo. That is a hell of a play. I mean, if you're Kentucky on that play, you're the Kentucky secondary coach. You're not upset. He guarded that play pretty well. That was a hell of a play. Yeah, someone in the thread talks about Mingo. That was the drive where Jonathan Mingo grew up. He arrived on that drive. I still can't believe Nick Saban does Aflac commercials. I'll never get used to it. I mean, I'm just being honest. It comes to, first thing that came to my mind.
He has gotten much more promotional, if you will.
Yeah.
However you want to put it. I'm just glad we're done with the Scott Cochran Regions Bank commercials or wherever the hell it was.
Those were hard to watch.
Buddy just sent me a text. Just onside kick every time from here on out.
It crossed my mind.
It's a theory.
Bama up 42-17. That's on Line Watch here soon.
We're okay.
17.5.
We're okay.
Yeah. Did you lay them?
Yeah, we got a score to play with. Did I lay them, really, against A&M?
Yeah.
Come on.
Who am I kidding? Picture of Jimbo just Goodness.
Really?
Looks rough. You not seen it?
He looked kind of like Freeze did in Stingray's thing yesterday.
I didn't see that.
You didn't turn it on?
No. That's Jimbo. It's not a great angle.
It looks like it's like 6:15 a.m. coming out of the casino.
Yeah. And it might have been 6:15 a.m., but he should not have been at the casino. Mac Jones throws a nice deep ball. He really does.
He was a really nice kid during recruiting. He had Ole Miss in like his top 3 or 4. I talked to him several times. He's committed to Kentucky at one point, right?
Yeah. And then Alabama offered, and that was that.
That was fun.
So tell me quickly about Hugh and Stingray. Do I even want to know?
I don't know what all Stingray asked, but Hugh did Stingray's show yesterday. Appeared to be a Facebook-only show. I turned it on, and he... Oh, well, not down yet. I turned it on. He was not the first guest of the day, so then I was like, I can't just sit here and listen to this.
So Hugh was not the headliner?
He was. Well, maybe they had an opening act. I don't know. But he was in the middle of the show somewhere. So I just took the little scroll thing and went to I found him, and I was like, Hugh, come on, like, A, don't do this angle. B, shave. Like, he was just looking a little rough, a little haggard. He beat the UNA Lions
I failed to shave today. I can't say much about it. I meant to and didn't.
You just forgot?
The time got away from me, but yeah.
Okay.
I don't know.
I think the Flames are 3-0. They're toying with them at this point. I mean, it's.
Oh, if Kentucky throws a ball, someone has to be questioned.
Now 326 on the rushing yard watch for Kentucky.
Held them to 9.5 on that play.
I mean, I know we're not like Pete, or we're not going to have a ton of scheme thoughts here, but in general, what do you do? Because there's not really any way to sell out against patient running. You know what I mean?
I mean, I guess you bring everybody and go, throw it.
Yeah.
Make you throw it, 9 in the box, 10 in the box. But at some point, you know, they're putting people out wide. You do have to go out with them.
Yeah.
Right now, they're questioning your manhood.
Just lining up.
I mean, there's nothing complicated about this right here. This is just block down. Tavius Robinson's got to be a little quicker there. I do want to take a moment and tell you about Heritage Properties. Should have done this earlier in the show, and like a lot of things today, time got away from me a little bit. It's we're brought to you by Heritage Properties, home to 3 communities in Oxford: Faulkner Flats, Cambridge Station, and Lexington Point. All 3 are multifamily housing. They offer on-site management, maintenance. They're pet-friendly, and they offer short-term leases. Faulkner Flats is one of the properties that's located on Old Taylor Road. They offer 1, 2, and 3-bedroom apartments, private balconies, patios, a premier 24/7 gym, tanning facility, a resort-style pool, car wash station, and much more. You don't want to miss out on their special rates. 3 bedrooms now leasing for the price of 2. contact live@faulknerflats.com or phone 662-234-4558.
The specialty daiquiri at Funky's currently is the pumpkin spice, and a lot of people like that. I'm not a pumpkin person. That's not going to be my flavoring in October.
I don't know that.
A lot of people are.
I don't know that pumpkin spice would be my thing.
They'll switch over to Cajun eggnog as it gets closer to the holidays. That's always one they'll do around November and December.
Huh. You an eggnog person at all?
I mean,
Not either.
I've had it. It's fine, but no, I'm not going to make sure I have some on hand. I'll get into some spiked ciders a little bit around Christmas. There are some Christmas type stuff that I'm good with, but that's not one of them. I'm not a big pumpkin pie fan either, though.
Oh, really?
Pumpkin pie is not something I'm.
Yeah, I like pumpkin pie.
You like sweet potato pie?
Yeah.
Do you?
Yeah.
Yeah, the array of pumpkin spice products is not the way to get me. Missed tackles are effort to a point, but not if you're not in position. They're not. Like Kelly Cam says that, and I understand to a point they are, but if you're a step slow, you're not in the right spot. You're grabbing. You're not able to get into a tackling position most of the time, and you're just off.
They have 3 100-yard runners.
Robert says, I got in an argument with my 6-year-old about ketchup on his hot dog. I mean, he's 6, Rob. I'll probably let him go, but I get it. I understand. When he's like 8, it's definitely a lesson.
Yeah, at some point you got to say something.
You can't let him grow up incorrectly.
No.
So
I mean, you have a responsibility.
Said it was a lot like arguing with a 6-year-old. Yeah.
Oh, downfield. 19 made a nice play because he had to really make up some ground there. Really nice play by 19. So Ole Miss forces a 4th down for Kentucky. Field goal opportunity coming up. He missed it. So 6:14 to go in the third quarter. Ole Miss gets the football back, down 7, 28-21 Kentucky. A stop is a stop is a stop at this point. If you're the Rebels, you probably can't ask for style points defensively. You just want stops. You got one. So here's an opportunity for you to tie the football game up and make it a one-quarter game, which is frankly what I expected going into this one. Snoop Connor, one tackle break, one broken tackle from a touchdown there. Really nice carry by him. Hey Tony, let's not have any insults on Bears kickers right now. Bears are undefeated. 3-0. A flag. It's on Kentucky.
Pretty late call there. I was kind of waiting around for another play.
Ooh, it's a little bit of a break for the Rebels there. Intended for Dennis Jackson. Maybe. Might have been a good call.
That back arm around him a little bit?
Maybe a little bit.
Yeah, we have Ed who drinks Bud Light, and we have Bubba who drinks Miller Light. So we have a bit of a
that's a fight.
We have a bit of a domestic.
I don't know who calls Ole Miss's plays, but he's a damn genius. I'll tell you that. They are really stressing the Kentucky defense with creativity. It's as good as a 5-yard run right there. Safe play. I think Kentucky called timeout. Oh.
Kentucky called timeout.
Kentucky called a cramp timeout, yes.
Hey, lay down for a minute. Have a sip. All right, cool.
Yeah. Your calf's bothering you, right?
Lane was wearing powder blue earlier, right?
Yeah. Did he change?
He's in white.
Maybe he had a contract or Federer sort of a deal. I don't know.
Halftime, we moved to this.
Could be. It's one of those days you really can't get started on the column.
I mean, no idea.
Robert wants to know what happens if I put on a visor. Nothing good.
Yeah.
Nothing good. Stoops has been pretty worked up the entire day.
He's got a lot of energy now. He's full go. November the 7th, the start time.
It's a miracle.
For the Pac-12.
It's a miracle. I think we should all celebrate the miracle.
He's short because he dove
It's
a
coming
hold.
back. It's a hold. 64, I believe. Yep. It was a good call. Second and 15. Hey, and this is 3 down territory right here. Wow.
Ran over one.
2 different players made plays right there, Corral and Mingo. Big time. Ooh. Boy, he laid him out. Third and 4, 2 down territory. You're not kicking a field goal here. I don't think. You kicking a field goal if you don't get it here? Do you trust Luke Logan to make it from here?
It's not about that. It's do I trust my defense to stop them enough to make where the back and forth matters. You know what I mean?
I'm going for it if I don't get it here. I'm 2 down territory if it's me. We'll never find out because he's going to score. Tell you what, Taylor's done a really good job calling this game from a remote location. You would think he was there.
Oh yeah, you can't. It's seamless. You can't really tell. And the busted play.
Where is Ely? Bad snap.
Another busted play because of the snap.
That was a snap.
Just killing themselves around the goal line right now.
I think he got in. Yep. Was a hell of an effort by Connor there. Newman helps him get in too. Hell of a play by Snoop though, because he's First contact
Momentum
comes
stops at the 1.5.
1.5, yeah. Didn't see anything that you could overrule right there. Nothing conclusive one way or the other. Now, how is Mark Stoops on the field like this? I mean, he's out in the middle of the field down at the 1 yard line,
Yep.
2 yard line. How is he allowed down there?
Say it's one thing to talk to the guy when he's over in your ear, but
Yeah. That's expected.
yeah. The longer this goes, it's not great for Ole Miss, though.
Oh,
Here's what I hate about this rule is it's not at the damn half-yard line. They always do that. It goes, if you're short, they move it to the half-yard line. Why not put it 6 inches or
Yeah.
an inch from the goal line, which is where it is?
well, I didn't see any replay whatsoever that gave me any indication how you would even be able to spot the ball. What replay did you see that would allow you to spot the ball?
I mean, they're going to go for it. But, I mean, see, there's no way it was that short.
No, that's what I'm saying.
That is such a lack of trust in your offensive line.
Yeah, it's not believing in them at all. Didn't like that play call. Bottom line right here, you got to make a stop. I mean, you got screwed there. There's no doubt about it, but there's time later to complain about that. Right now's the time to get a stop and give your offense another opportunity. I'd love to see what replay they used to overturn that play. I didn't see it. I didn't see evidence that he got in, but I didn't see evidence that he didn't. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Third and about 7 here. No, 9, they say.
Third and 9, a chance to get a little reset if you're the Ole Miss. Ole Miss looks very confused.
Got to make a play here. And they did. Ooh.
Here's the deal there. It either should be live or a penalty. You know what I mean? Because he either deked it or he didn't.
Right. Let's see. No, he
There
didn't
was
call for a
literally
fair
nothing.
catch.
He did nothing.
Wow. Well, there was nothing to see, Stinch. Wow. You know, the knock on Matt Corral was always bad decision making. He's now played 7 quarters. I think he's made one bad decision. You'll take that all day long. One bad decision every 7 quarters.
Fixate going back to last week. I mean, and even we were sort of nitpicking because even one of the ones we mentioned was rolling the wrong way.
Well, that was the one.
Ball.
That was the one. Yeah, he should have eaten that.
Yeah.
That was it. The interception was a good play by the Florida defensive lineman.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, they're recruited to play too. Well, we thought it would be a fourth quarter game.
It is a fourth quarter game.
Here we are.
Ole Miss chance to grow up a little right here. You have two poor calls go against you in a row. 2 and 5 plays. You're on the road trying to learn how to win a little bit. Defense has been okay this half relative to okay relatively. Kentucky's defense is gassed. I will say that. Ole Miss does have them on their heels for whatever that matters as we move forward here into the fourth quarter.
Yeah, no, I actually think Ole Miss's defense is in a little better shape right now than Kentucky's. Kentucky's defense looks like it's gasping for air right this moment.
The end of the quarter bailed him out a little bit because Corral was headed back to the line of scrimmage as quickly as he could get there.
Cole, thank you very much. And yes, please, if you're sitting in the stream right now and you're not a YouTube subscriber, take a moment during the TV break, if you would, please, and hit that subscribe button. It doesn't cost you anything. Hit the little bell that'll give you notifications. But if you don't want to hit both, hit the subscribe button. That would help us and ultimately help us help you. I will say I did not like the first and second down calls at the end zone.
Well, I don't know what the second one was because of the snap.
Well, that's true. It was a broken play. It's a good point. Good point.
But yes, it just felt And it's the only thing, like, I didn't like the option play call. I will say this, it's possible that Randy Clements and Lane, they look at those first two plays, and even though they were broken plays, the offensive line could have been overwhelmed and went, hey, we're getting no push. We've got to find a way to get this thing out somehow outside. Because you're making Kentucky at least play assignment football against Jerry and Ely on the corner. But it just, they did, and it didn't work. Memphis and SMU tied at 27 with 7:49 to go.
Brady White's still at Memphis?
Yep.
Huh. What's he, like a 10th year sophomore?
Did he replace Paxton Lynch?
I can't remember.
Ooh.
Did the right thing. He ate it. Didn't force it. There had nothing downfield. All right, this is 4-down territory, Chase.
That's why he called that play.
Yep, that's exactly
right. That was a first down play.
3rd and 5.5 or so.
Yeah. Catch it.
Yeah. Mingo started to run. He said, watching Sundays. He's like, nobody touched me.
Yeah.
Oh, great call. Great
Such a
call. Did you see the play, the way they set it up with Yeboah right there?
Yeah.
Yeboah set up kind of in the flat little area, in a spot in the zone, and they bit on it, and he slid right behind him.
Well, the offense is certainly more creative than we've been watching the last few years with
You think? In related news, I'm a little bald.
Dynamite.
Dynamite drop in.
Yeah. Fly ball caught.
That's a really good play. Hey, give them a ton of credit. That moment on the end zone could have been a morale breaker, and it wasn't. Made a stop, got it back. You've negated it now.
Tie game, 13 to go.
I mean, that's no longer a part of the storyline. Thank God, because I hate those shows where we're talking about a call.
Oh.
You know what I mean? I get it. I would have understood it, but now that's no longer part. That's been negated. It's tied. Took a couple extra minutes, but here we are.
Yeah. Start over, reset.
Yeah, because you wouldn't have gotten the ball in that possession, like, you know what I mean? Coke says I look worn the F out. I think I'm just old, Cokes.
And you didn't shave.
And I didn't shave.
Yeah.
I needed to have shaved this
You look
morning.
a little like Jimbo. I mean, just the whole.
I needed to have shaved. That was such a well drawn up play.
Well, and I mean,
really well designed. It was creative.
It's obviously big for the day, but it's also a possibility this is the game that kind of gets Mingo going. You get a guy like that some confidence, finally gets into the offense where he kind of believes in it and feels like his number's getting called a little bit.
Yeah.
And he takes pressure off Elijah Moore. I mean, you can't completely –
does.
But between him and Yeboah, between the two of them, they can't completely let that go, and then you get Slip Ely out.
Well, they used
and
Kenny Yeboah right there as some eye candy.
Yeah.
And it worked. Because it only takes a split second for the DB for
one
his
step, and that's
people say, what if he eyes in the wrong place? For just a split second, his eyes went to the wrong place.
Yeah, he was watching Yeboah, and that's it.
Yep.
Because these guys are pretty quick, so one little second, that's it.
One step the wrong way and another step the right way, and you're out.
And Corral's been very, very accurate with those across the middle throws.
Look, Matt's had a hell of a year. I don't know Matt's numbers right now, but I'm going to guess they're good.
Matt Corral at the moment is 21 of 26 for 260 and 3.
Yeah, you take that.
Yeah, probably okay going into the day. But hey, Lane, early fourth, 260 and 3, no picks. Okay, sure.
Alabama up 45-24 that game.
God.
That game's on betting line watch.
Yeah, we're at 21 now in the lead. Yeah, passing yards, Kentucky has passed for 68, Ole Miss has passed for 260. Rushing yards, Kentucky has 353, Ole Miss has 135. Both teams decent on third down, 4 of 8 for Kentucky, 6 of 11 for Ole Miss. Time of possession fairly close so far. Not some huge change in time of possession. Which some of it is Ole Miss has tackled so poorly in the first half that Kentucky broke a lot of big runs and didn't have to drive the football.
Of course, Ole Miss's first score took 6 seconds.
Yeah.
It was fast. He's short.
He's short.
They give him a first down?
Yeah. Hold on.
I thought he was a full half yard short.
He's really good with his patience in the backfield.
Yeah, he's a good runner.
Let it develop, let it develop, let it develop. Wait. Les Miles having a rough day, losing 44-7 in Lawrence against Oklahoma State.
I thought he got a foot in.
A lot of flood concepts for Kentucky. They give Wilson a couple different options in an area, but not ever having to do too much from a throwing standpoint.
Yeah, he can't drop back and run a pro style. Yeah, he got a foot in.
For Ole Miss, for the moment, you're just having to take that because you can't play pass. Don't know what it means, but Stetson Bennett warming up with the starters in the Georgia.
Oh, really?
huddle prior to the game. Yeah. What time's that start time? 6:30?
6:30. It's 3 6:30 games. Defended that one pretty well.
Yeah, 3rd and 7.
3rd and about 8. Yep. No, the announcers are not for Kentucky. I know one of the announcers extremely well. I can assure you he's not for either team.
Interesting stat here from our guy Sammy on Twitter and in the thread from time to time. Says against Florida, Corral snapped the ball in a no-back set just once. He's done it 9 times today.
Oh, wow. Ryder Anderson.
Really good play.
Big play on his part. Beat his man.
Kentucky just does not trust downfield.
Mm-mm.
Big play.
Got a punt here if you're Kentucky, right?
They're going for it. Screen or draw, right?
Great play. Great play.
Brought a ton of pressure.
Brought big call by Durkin.
That's a risky call because the right screen there and you are done. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
if Kentucky gets off a screen or a little slip there, and
But
that
that's the
thing
spot
is,
to take a risk. You know,
Yeah.
why not? Oh, it was great.
Oh no, that was just a great call all the way around. They left basically kind of a zone blitzer there. They left guys outside.
Well, they brought 2 from the
Yeah,
outside, Jordan, and
That was
then
a
they
really
brought
good call.
Sonogo. Yeah.
It wasn't as all out as I thought it was on first look. They really played some short zone there.
Tom Luke just headbutted someone in a helmet.
Did he?
That had to hurt. I was going to say, I'd go for something big here.
Lane likes the tight end.
Lane likes stretching the field vertically.
Yeah.
A lot of eye candy.
Yeah,
Side to side, stretch vertically. It's just really smart concept. Did it again. Just well defended. Oh, they get an interference call.
On Mingo.
Lot of
Yeah,
people,
you're
for people
making
who,
your eyes go all
for
over
people
the
who don't
place.
know what the hell I'm talking about. I didn't used to. The eye candy means you're bringing a lot of motion horizontally across the field, making defenders look at it because they're having to account for it. They're having to communicate, hey, you have him. It switches as they go. That creates gaps down the field. All right, here we go. To the 1. He didn't quite get in.
A lot of corral runs today.
They got that one right, by the way, in case anybody's wondering.
Yeah, he didn't get in.
He didn't get in. Take your time. Get a good snap. Nope. Oh, my gosh.
What the hell?
That's a Houdini play. How did he get out of there? I thought he was down at the 3. How did he get out? They had him handled at the 3-yard line. Ooh, Ben Brown got pushed back. Look at that.
Well, Brown actually did it. He knocked the defender over Connor. Connor kind of like slipped under it when Brown made contact in the backfield.
Oh. How about that? It's impossible to write a column here. I hope nobody's expecting a column 15 minutes into hand raise, guys, because it's going to be trouble.
Oh, there's nothing you can do.
If they win, I don't think anybody will give a damn.
No, just open her up and go.
Get one when you get one.
Yeah.
I got the wrong score. Damn it.
What'd you do?
Oh, I entered the wrong score. My mind was doing something else. My mind can't do two things at once anymore, Chase.
Look, Kentucky, I mean, by far not out of this game, but they did so much with Lynn Bowden last year. It's fairly incredible because a team knows what you're going to do offensively. It was not an offense they were built for last year with that level of running that was involved with it.
Yeah.
I mean, frankly, damnedest thing they won the games they did.
Give a lot of credit to Bowden, first of all, for being a hell of a football player. Eddie Grant had a good plan. They were good up front.
They just don't have a plan B, though. You know what I mean?
They got to play some crap teams down the stretch, too.
That's fair, too. At this level, I mean, if Ole Miss just have a competent defense.
Can we do for the second week in a row what an indictment this is on Rich Rodriguez? I mean, I can't stop thinking about it. It's a fair point, isn't it?
He's got a podcast now. You want to call in?
I'd love to ask him. Because for those that don't know, we get a lot of inside stuff. And when you would ask people, you'd say, well, what's the deal with Corral? And he can't make good decisions. He can't make the right decisions. And I'm watching this going, wait, what?
He's been good, great. I mean,
Been good?
Yeah, no issues.
Chase, read his numbers again, bud.
Matt Corral, 22 of 27, 301 and 3.
And he's running
Matt Corral 11 for 51.
If you call that good,
352 total for Matt Corral.
It's more than good. I mean, not picking your words apart, but more than good.
He's the leading rusher currently. Kickoff's much better for Ole Miss today, by the way. Something we don't usually talk about, but they've been good.
He's made all 5 PATs. He's done what you've asked him to do. But look at that pass. That is right perfect. I know it worked, but I don't like the call. Robert wants us to put in order now winnable games for UM.
Like most winnable to late?
I guess so.
Oh.
He dropped it.
Vanderbilt,
Arkansas. Texas
South
A&M,
Carolina.
Texas A&M. I'd like to see LSU again. I'd love to know how much of LSU's deal was a completely awful plan for a unique scheme. Think about it at that point. Great play.
Good play. Yeah.
Great play. Sonogo's had a really good fourth quarter. But now Taylor's right, they have, but now they're having to play from behind. And when you have to chase a little, it changes your mindset.
Sonogo now with 6 tackles on the day. Jalen Jones leading the Rebels with 9. No pressure on Wilson. You got to put some kind of body in his path there.
Yep.
I mean, perfect pocket.
Yeah, really clean.
5-on-5, perfect pocket.
Really clean pocket.
Wilson's been sacked twice today. Richardson has one. Sonogo has one.
Jordan Tomu positive for COVID.
All that, yeah.
I bet he lives.
Only one other quarterback hurry though for Ole Miss today. They've sacked Wilson twice, and they only have one more hurry. Another third down, but he got
Third
way
about
more.
3.
That pocket was so good on that third down that Wilson actually did look comfortable. Because somebody said in the stream, he never looks comfortable in the pocket. Pretty good scheme offensively there. Ole Miss actually did a pretty decent job defensively.
Yeah.
They blocked up his first two progressions.
Thought Williams had a shot, and then 68 kind of pushed him off. Got 6. Oh, the Preakness was run today. I had no idea.
Who won?
Swiss Skydiver.
Did he run in the Derby? Or they hadn't had it. Yeah, they had the Derby in the.
Yeah.
Or is this all of them now?
I'm not sure. The Belmont was first, right?
Yeah, that's right. Right. The 6th filly to win the Preakness Stakes.
Oh, wow.
Thanks.
Well, congratulations to her. I'm sure she's very excited.
Oat bag. Gotta get an oat bag.
It's got the strangest text.
Really?
Yeah. Really bizarre. Wow.
Name the Vanderbilt player on the promo. Any chance?
Uh,
I don't know either. So Jay Cutler.
Carlton.
Hatton Robinette.
Carlton Eubanks II.
Most Vanderbilt thing ever. Robinette quit as the starting quarterback to go to med school. Wilson was hoping for a pass interference call by throwing the ball over her direction. Oh. That was a weird one because he didn't look overly pressured and he just kind of
threw it away.
Yeah.
Well, Kiffin kept saying there was no one there.
I mean, what the Well, it was the right call.
Yeah. The nearest person was Sonogo.
Really stupid, but the right call. Against Kentucky, you have to throw it a little bit. And they lose him and bust the coverage.
Yep. 38. And, yeah, somebody thought they had man and somebody else thought it was zone. Right?
Either that or the safety was just so late moving and didn't do any recognition whatsoever. Because they drove. He had that deep side and he just didn't move. It was just two steps late on moving.
There's a conversation in the thread about whether they'll go for 2 or not.
It's not typically Mark Stoops' bag, I don't think.
No, I would kick an extra point.
Yeah, I think that's on the safety, not the corner there.
Nobody went. They totally miscommunicated there.
In both ways.
Yeah, across the board. Well, 2:04 to go.
So they always say do the thing that your opponent doesn't want you to do. Ole Miss really wants them to kick an extra point right here and not go for 2. So it'd be,
And with 3 timeouts left, you could.
Kicking. Kentucky had an extra point, hit an upright earlier in the game.
They did. Well, we said all week we thought this would be a hell of a competitive game, and it is. The over-under was 70?
63.
Oh, so he went over.
It was 62.5 or 63, depending on your favorite book.
How many words I have written on my column?
0.
I actually have a couple of paragraphs written on one topic.
Are you going to stick with that topic?
Well, I think it's going to be a part of the column no matter what, which is they've got to go out and recruit defensive players. We will take a good 20-minute break, kind of reset a little bit. We've got to cut some photos. We've got a little bit of work to do just to get some stuff done. So we will have 6:05 now.
I say 20 is right.
About 20, yeah, and we'll stay with you guys as long tonight as you'd like to. I imagine the mood is about to be determined by the next 2 minutes. One way or the other, there's a lot to build on the offensive end, and one way or the other, there is a ton to do on the defensive side from a recruiting and talent standpoint. Just how much indigestion will there be if Luke Logan lines up to kick a field goal?
Free shot.
Yeah, it is absolutely a free shot, yeah.
You tried one of these Chewy boxes into your dogs? They like the marketing.
We've ordered from Chewy.
Have you?
Yeah. This is crazy.
Your text?
Yeah, it really just kind of sending some chills down my spine a little bit, if I'm honest.
Seriously?
Mm-hmm. Nothing bad, just weird.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
We've created a situation where positive or negative, we have fallout in two places, on our message board and our YouTube stream at the same time. Whatever happens,
yeah.
It's like you got all the time in the world. You get 2 minutes with 3 timeouts. Play.
Oh yeah, you don't have to hurry.
I would have gone for 2 if I was Kentucky. If I were Kentucky,
You would have.
yeah. Two very different days. Both very effective. Short kick. Oh, a fair catch.
Yeah, because you get it out at the 25.
Yeah, no matter where you catch it. Yeah. The 24-yard line. Ely has not played a ton. Has been very bottled up so far.
Yeah, hadn't done anything.
Neither team been big on calling timeouts today. Ole Miss hasn't used one today. That's going to be intentional grounding unless they give it to him.
I think they were going to say he was down anyway, so it's going to be
Third, pretty
immaterial.
long.
Yeah. The difference is the clock runs now, and if you're Ole Miss, you need to slow down.
If I was Kentucky, I'd call timeout right
I would have
there.
too. Not a lot of plays you have drawn up for 3rd and 17 right here. Shocked Kentucky's not taking a timeout.
I think I almost even arm punt this a little bit. Get something down the field, and maybe you get a penalty. If they pick it off, they pick it off. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He didn't get it. Short. Fourth and 1. Yeah, I want to see a replay. That was did not seem like Elijah knew exactly where he was having to get to.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Just typing some thoughts.
No, right here.
Oh.
You even give consideration to going for it?
No.
You're giving the game away if you don't.
You're giving the game away if you don't. Now, if you get it, you've still got 3 timeouts. But it's 4th and a full 1.
It's a good one.
And if you don't get it, you hand them field goal range.
Yeah, they're already in it.
Be a 51-yarder.
Give or take. You know what I mean?
No, I punt the football. Because Kentucky, you'll have to throw it to get, assuming you have a good kick.
So is Jay doing pregame and game, or what? What's his
I'm
plan?
not sure
today?
what he's doing.
I think it's even more closer to 2 than 1. SMU 4-0. And the American's a little interesting if you care about it. The league's not the SEC. They are not doing divisions this year. Just the top 2 teams make the title game to play one another in the American.
Oh, really?
And SMU now 4-0.
Feeling pretty good about things.
Lane Kiffin's going for it.
Really?
I think so. That's what Twitter says. Twitter's a little ahead of our TV. It was worth a shot.
Got off a boomer. Did he fair catch?
Fire called it.
Wow. He boomed that ball.
I think it was one bad little bounce there. Kentucky going the other way on them twice in 2 weeks
Yep.
because somebody gets that headed the other way and that thing is over.
You're Kentucky. You got to be a little careful right here.
Can't be stupid. Are they even going to push it?
Oh, I think they're going to try.
No,
We're going to overtime.
they're just.
Mac Brown ended that conversation.
What do we get this line at, Mr. McCready?
It was 7.
Okay. Wonder if it was 6.5.
It was 7. Had it at 7. So
You should get wins if you are covering going into overtime.
that's where I need to tell you that I hate the college
Overtime?
overtime. I hate it. I much prefer the NFL overtime, especially now that the other team gets a possession.
52-24 final on Bama and A&M, so that is an Alabama cover. It's a crazy stat. We mentioned SMU and Memphis a minute ago. SMU's Reggie Robertson. He's the first player in 25 years to have 240-plus receiving yards with 5 or fewer receptions.
Say it again.
First player in 25 years to have 240 yards receiving on 5 or fewer catches.
Oh, wow.
5 for 243 and 2. What is Ole Miss's last overtime win?
I'm trying to think. They didn't play in overtime any last year.
Remember it.
Lost to Vanderbilt in overtime, the weird call, the A.J. Brown call.
Oh, that's right. Matt, don't say the wrong thing. He got really confused.
He almost said we want the ball.
That might have been the one thing that would have got him out of there.
Yeah, Eli Manning was a 7 overtime game against Arkansas that they lost.
I mean, yeah, he did doink a field goal off the upright, but he also could have missed an extra point. Kentucky definitely a little better built for this type of situations.
Yeah, for sure. Overtimes are just so weird because one play. Has there been a turnover since that weird play at the goal line?
No.
Kind of time for one.
a battering ram inside.
Mm-hmm. I might try something here, stack a box or something, just to take away that.
Force something.
Force them outside, force them into the air, see if I can't force a mistake. I go 4 wide at the top of the screen.
Just to run it
but
out
it's a run play. Total mismatch.
What they've been doing to him all day. It's what Pete talked about in the second quarter. They just stack it out wide and make you overcommit bodies out there because you have to cover them. Then they counter off of it.
If you're Ole Miss, do you go for 2? If you get it? If you score, do you go for 2?
Gotta think about it. See, and his little stutter step inside sucked everybody in off that corner right there.
Oh, that's a hold on 68 held Sam Williams.
Yep.
He missed it. Forget the extra point. Go for 2. It's right there now, boys and girls. Witness protection. Can I get Lexington, Kentucky, please?
Well, you're not forcing a field goal attempt. It's 4 down territory there. Stinchcomb.
Yeah, I feel confident that Ole Miss will not kick a field goal. Taylor proving that Huntington education.
Hey.
That's smart.
Got 5.
Yeah, don't get hit. Timeout, Kentucky.
Yeah, it looks good for an Ole Miss cover at the moment. That is correct.
We'll all get that one. Except Campbell. Campbell didn't understand the point spread. She just
she had Kentucky covering?
Yeah. I don't think she understood the cover. She just goes in one ear and out the other. But
the whole point thing doesn't really.
As long as she keeps doing well in accounting and supply chain, I just know it's fine. If she doesn't get the point spreads, we'll be all right.
Can work on that later. We got time. Yeah.
What are you doing?
This has a chance to. Got the first down.
I get him off.
They didn't give him the first down.
They get to replay that then because he got it.
He got it, yeah. They moved it now.
Okay. Got to be a flag.
No flag.
Wow. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. It's sitting right there. Had to be because he was face.
That was very similar to the DK in the same end zone. Got up over
the other corner, but yeah. Oh, yeah.
I mean, come on.
Textbook.
Yeah, I mean. Your heart couldn't have been it to boo that one now. Come on.
Not even sure even Mike Stoops can complain about that one.
With the 2?
Yeah, 2-yard line, first and goal. I was telling you earlier, even when he got in, their red zone interior offense is not effective.
They don't get any
right
push.
Now. No.
Frankly, they're better from the 12 than they are the 2.
Yeah, that's what I was telling you. Even on the play where Connor scored, the play got blown up. He just somehow escaped it, but it wasn't a – 3-yard line. I'm doing something in the air. Misdirection, eye candy. Got it.
Yep.
Well, Luke Logan gets a chance to kick an extra point to win a game. Love the play call.
For Kentucky, you lose Elijah Moore across the field. I mean,
yeah, but they did a lot of stuff. There's a lot happening. There's a lot of you're having to guard the middle here with Connor, and so he's right there. And they did a little pick, not a pick, but made it.
You got it all game.
Congratulations, Ole Miss. Wow. I said it'd be a 1-point game. I had the wrong team winning by 1, but
Ole Miss was down 14 that huge drive. They come back, kept it in the game. We saw, hey, they're going to grow up a little bit against Florida, and they get the chance to do it again, and then right there. So all right, here's the deal. We will we'll cut this one off. What is the deal? We'll take 20. We'll be back with hand raised guys here in a was good. So hang around your computers, pour a cocktail.
Real quick, let's take a moment. Let people have the moment here.
Okay.
Just kind of hoping we get to hear from Kiffin right there.
Okay.
I know we talked about it's a throwaway season, and it is. Just your quick thought, because frankly, I'm soliciting some thoughts. What's that mean for a program?
They're growing up. I think even in 2 weeks they've shown some maturity that maybe they haven't had in past seasons. The last couple of years they got down by. That's what I mentioned. They got down by 14 against Florida. Came back twice. They get down here by
14.
By 14. And it's can you get back again?
It was 28-14 Kentucky.
Yeah, they scored 30.
Yeah.
They won 21. They scored 21 unanswered. They end up going up 35-28. It's a credit to Corral. It's a credit to the offense, and it's a maturity because look, they weren't great. Defense played better in the second half. They made some plays. They did enough. That was it. That's all they did.
Well, that's why early in the game where people were saying it's Durkin and stuff, I'm like, guys, it's not Durkin. He's one of the better defensive minds in the game. He just had to, but they just kept dialing up enough things to get there.
Yeah. So that's it. It's huge for a program because here's what it's going to do. Next week, whatever, they're going to play Arkansas. You can get a chance to get 2-2. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it sets up some chances to really kind of have a fun season from even a win-loss record. You know, we talk about growth. We talk about what does things look like day to day. But even a win-loss record, it gives you a chance now to have a pretty good year. So, yeah, that's it.
Okay, so it is 6:32 now. We will
sometime between 6:50 and 7 o'clock.
Yeah, no later than 7, and probably before that. We'll get to you. We're going to try to cut a couple of photos. One of us is going to get on the Zoom call. I'll try to write a column. It's going to be a haphazard column. I don't know that anybody gives a damn. And then we'll be back, and we'll take your calls and talk. And we've got the bourbon of the week, which we'll dive into.
Old Elk.
Old Elk.
Okay.
from High Cotton.
Oh, is it a store pick?
It's a store pick.
Okay.
So we'll get into that a little bit. Chase will show you his Blue Delta jeans, his powder blues.
Okay.
Haley coming?
I don't know. I'll check. I don't
know. Yeah, so that's what we got going. So congratulations again. Big, huge win for Ole Miss. And y'all catch your breath. We'll catch ours, and we'll be back no later than 7 o'clock. Thanks for watching the watch party, and we'll be back with Henry's guys in a bit.